bands. Yo, what's up, my man? Chase those bands. Today is a good day to make some bands. We got Dare in the chat. We got Chiron. We got Chase bands again. Tesla crazy. Yeah, it's been crazy. Katina Man in a $4 banger on that at the 10 EMA right now, trying to hold 183. I think we're having trouble. They're getting there. Okay. You can do it, YouTube. You can do it. Hold my beer in the chat. It's up to you, my man. We'll wait. Killer Cam, 1020, what's up? Raoul, what's up? Pillsbury, there we go. Success is inevitable. Bristol, we got Andrew Chow. We got Bears versus Bulls, world's greatest moderator. Diamond Realty in Miami, one of the OGs. Shout out to you, my man. We got Charles Butler, Callum, Mitchell Miller, the Fawns, Lambo Trade Extraordinaire, Joe Schmo, Diet Soda, Benton C. We got 1320 Wolf, Wrath Kid, Colin Cloakin, Fabrio, we got Matthew, we got Maxi, we got Jeremy, we got Jesus Garcia, and Sebastian. Good morning, Adair.
Good morning. I really want to call out this an amazing chat here from Romeo Cruz. Sharif going for that Money Hero title today. So that was a reference to yesterday with that Money Hero, and I was like, Sharif's the Money Hero.
What happened in that stock?
We'll find out. Let's look at MNY, yeah. Also, yeah, I love that Romeo Cruz. Thank you so much for that one. Put a smile on my face. It's doing typical, you know, small cap things where
second day move.
They kind of fall a little bit to the downside there.
Exactly.
But yeah, how has your day been?
It's not bad. We've had a couple of good trades. I've had bad trades on Apple. Haven't been able to trade Apple, funny enough, but I had a couple of good ones, so I'll go over those first. NVDL took that bad boy long for a nice winner there off the bottom as Nvidia tries to hold that 940 area. Softy as well was a good trade. Softy right off that 423 hold. Let me show you that, and then we'll get right into the lesson. MSFT. This one was a nice hold off the bottom there, a double bottom at 423. Kind of paper-handed this one, though. It took big size at this level, so took it all out there for a nice 40 penny winner. Not the greatest morning, but not bad either. Hopefully we'll have some better trades. The one that I'm looking at right now, though, is Meta at 510. How many 510 rejections are we going to get at Meta and on Meta? And I told Adara this right when I sat down. I'm like, right when she sat down, I'm like, 510 Meta, 510 Meta. And yeah, it did it again. It rejected off 510 for a third time on the day. We had two initial rejections there at the open and just got another one right now, I think right at 11. So $1.20 off that level. So we'll keep eyes on some Mag 7 names. We'll talk more about Reddit, Donald J. Trump, as well as some others. Let's talk, though, about the lesson of the day, which is chart pattern breakouts. We're talking about breakouts all week, guys. So make sure to join us from now until Thursday. We'll be talking about breakout trades. So today, we're going to unveil the mystery about chart pattern breakouts. So the world of technical analysis is filled with patterns, and some of the most valuable for traders are chart pattern breakouts. These patterns act like road signs, essentially hinting at potential price moves. Let's delve into the exciting world and learn how to ID these patterns. So let's talk right about what chart patterns are. Chart pattern primer, baby. Imagine price movements forming recognizable shapes on a chart. These chart patterns and some common examples, which we'll include later, like triangles, flags, pennants, head and shoulders, cup and handles, you name it. Those are what we're talking about when we talk about chart patterns. Each pattern suggests a potential trading scenario after the breakout occurs, and that's what we're talking about here. Once the pattern has been completed and the breakout takes place, that is what we're talking about. And here are some examples of the cup and handle, pennant, triangle on this chart. So we got the triangle, the symmetrical triangle, and you know that it is a continuation pattern from the week we did on chart patterns. So whatever trend precedes the symmetrical triangle, it's going to continue in that direction. So if it was a downtrend that preceded, as you can see here on whatever this axis bank is, it ended up continuing downward and broke the downtrend line. The bullish pennant is a continuation pattern as well. So if you had a strong uptrend preceding the pennant, you're likely going to continue in that direction of the trend. And the cup and handle, also a bullish pattern, continuation pattern. So typically an uptrend that precedes that whole rounded bottom consolidation cup kind of handle type thing, and it ends up moving higher. If the trend that preceded it was an uptrend. So those are some examples. Let's talk about the breakout. We're going to break down the breakout. It's a bit of a mouthful. So a breakout happens when the price decisively moves through the boundaries. The boundaries are the boundaries of the chart pattern that we're talking about. Okay? This signals a possible change in the prevailing trend. Here's a breakdown for bullish and bearish breakouts. So the first one, the bullish breakout. The price closes above the trend line in these cases. Obviously, it's a bullish breakout, so you're looking for a close above the trend line, whatever that is on the pattern that you're looking at, like a triangle or a pennant. This suggests buyers are overpowering sellers and potentially leading to a price increase. Conversely, for bearish breakouts, the price closes below the trend line of a pattern, like a head and shoulders, for example. This indicates sellers are starting to gain control of the price, hinting at a potential price decrease. And here's a case in point, right? So you have a bullish breakout continuation. It's a symmetrical triangle, and preceding it was an uptrend. So what ends up happening, you have a break and a close above the upper trend line. So that's what we're looking for. So one thing we need to keep eyes on, number one, what is the trend preceding the chart pattern that forms? That's step number one. Step number two, what is the chart pattern that is forming? Because there's different categorizations of chart patterns. There is continuation patterns, reversal patterns as well. So we want to keep an eye on those to see which pattern is forming so we can anticipate what the price action will be subsequent, okay? And here is a head and shoulders breakdown. So we've talked about the neckline, right? You make the left shoulder, there's your head, there's your right shoulder. And as we talked about, wait for that neckline breakdown. There you go. This one, you have a closing print clearly below the trend, and it ends up continuing downward. Thank you for Adair for adding all these examples, by the way. So not all breakdowns are created equal, though. So while breakouts are valuable, breakouts, not breakdowns, while breakouts are valuable signals, it is important to be cautious. So we want to be cautious when we're taking any trades, that goes without saying. So there's false breakouts, and we talked a little bit about that already, right? False breakouts can occur when the price flirts with a pattern boundary, but then reverses direction. Here's how to be a savvy trader and figure out if it's going to reverse on you or not. So confirmation is key. So look for additional confirmatory indicators like a surge in trading volume alongside the breakout. We talked a lot about that yesterday, looking for that key move with the volume in addition to price to confirm that the breakout is kosher and not a form of bamboozlement. High volume suggests more conviction behind the price movement. That goes without saying. The more people that are interested, the more volume there's going to be because there's going to be more buy orders. Conversely, as well for the bearish breakdowns, the more volume there is on that red candle, the more shorts, the more bearish traders are participating in the name. And keep your eye, obviously, on candle power. We talked a lot about this yesterday. When you're breaking above or below the trend lines on the chart pattern, are you doing so on a daily close, a weekly close, or is it an intraday look? Is it the 4 hour? Is it the 1 hour? Again, all these techniques are fractal, meaning they can be used on multiple time frames. However, the lower down you go on the time frame, the higher the failure rate is with these. So if you get a close on the daily or the weekly, it weighs more. It is worth more than a close on the hourly or the half hour or whatever, okay? Keep that in mind always. It's a ubiquitous rule for technical analysis. And here's an example of a breakout with strong volume. So you have lower high, lower high, lower high with lower lows as well. And then you get that vicious break above the trend line on volume. So remember we were talking about looking for that above average volume and ways in which you can do that. A cursory view of the daily and comparing it to other volume bars alongside the same look there is all that's really needed. You don't have to go in and look at the 1 year volume average, a 5 year, etc. You can just look at your chart, just like we see here, see that this breakout was on above average volume. That should add the check beside its name, okay? So here's how we take action with these breakout techniques. All right, so once you've confirmed the breakout, here are some tips for entering and exiting the trade. So like we talked about yesterday, entering the trade, there's going to be one of two ways. One, you can... AMD apparently is going nuts. The Katina man said yes. So AMD, big move off that 176.50. It just pumped into 181 and a quarter. It's doing the dance with no pants right now at 181, Katina man. And we could, like, yeah, up 1.25%. I have nothing on my blotter to account for the move up. Neither does Adara.
It's going by itself. I don't know.
Yeah, I see you, Quantrain. I see you. I see you. He's telling me about AMD as well. Yeah, look, guys, I didn't get that Apple headline about that 30% decrease in Chinese iPhone sales. That didn't come on my blotter, so I'm not saying that that's not accurate, but I don't see a lot of stuff that other people are seeing on my blotter, so don't take what I'm saying here with a whole lot, because I don't see any reason AMD should be moving. The second we get more information, we'll pass that on to you, okay? But right now, it's coming into that 181 area. It's fighting with 181 at the moment. AMD is what we're talking about. All right, going back to the lesson at hand, we talked yesterday about the two strategies for taking the breakout trade. One, you can take the breakout of the actual level. The example we gave yesterday, Apple 200. You could be one of those people that sits at $200.01 or sits right at $200, whatever you want to be. You take the break when it happens. There's another group of people who says, no, let the 200 break go. Let me confirm that it's not going to be a fake out, that 200 gets taken, and then what I'll do is I'll wait for a retracement if one comes. That's the big caveat here. If one comes, you may not get a retracement, and that's the bad side of it. The good side of waiting is that you confirm that 200 is in fact a level, it is in fact a breakout, and is not a fake out breakout. The bad side about taking 200 right away is that you get the better price. That's a good thing, but the bad thing is you subject yourself to a possible fake out. So two different schools of thought. Figure out which one you fit better into and have at it. AMD's going, guys. There we go. 181 got taken. Here comes 182 on AMD. I'm looking at it from the side screen here. 181.80 HOD. I'm still seeing nothing on it. Again, once we get something for you guys, we will let you know. But anyway, AMD up big. Okay. Yeah, I know. Sorry to have to do the lesson, but this is part of the job, okay? Stop loss protection, very important as well. So where are you going to place your stop? Always use stop loss orders, goes without saying. For breakouts, you can consider placing it below the broken trend line, right? Or for the bearish trade for the shorts, you place it above the broken trend line for resistance. So that's what you're doing there. So below support for the long, above resistance for the short. If it makes a higher high, your short likely is incorrect. If it makes a lower low, your long likely is incorrect. That's why we say for longs, place it below support. For shorts, place it above resistance. And take profit wisely, guys, right? We're not in the holding game. We're intraday day traders or swing traders, right? So holding forever and ever, amen, is not part of the game here. We want to take profit. Profit taking crucial. So look for potential resistance levels above a bullish breakout. So if you're taking that 200 long on Apple, it's a blue sky setup. You don't know where to take profits. So you're going to have to look at, different increments, $10 increments, whatever, $5 increments, figure it out. But if there is a definable resistance level above your breakout level, look to take profits there. So if you broke down below, let's just say you broke down below 900 and you took on Nvidia, and then we reclaimed 900, you took the 900 breakout. Well, we know 1,000 is likely the resistance level for Nvidia, so you may want to wet your beak on some profits on that at that 1,000. Just giving you a random example. The point is to look to take profits wisely, look to take for the long, just in front of resistance. If you're taking a short trade, look to take it right in front of support, okay? And remember, chart patterns are probabilistic tools, right? They're not a crystal ball. Conduct thorough research, both technical and fundamental, and manage your risk wisely. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. I can't believe I had to go and give that example yesterday about my friends looking to take out loans to get into Nvidia, but needless to say, chill out with that. Bonus tip, combine chart patterns with other technical indicators like moving averages, relative strength index, moving average convergence divergence. We talked a lot about this last week when we talked about the diversion trade. Keep your eye on that, okay? And so that is the lesson of the day. We're talking about chart pattern breakouts. Adara.
Nice, yeah. I think they're really cool. And I think it's important to kind of understand how chart patterns work and in what ways they behave so you can understand these breakouts. Now, of course, things aren't always going to go according to plan. And with that in mind, we must mention, you know, AMD. I was going to try to come up with some transition, but we had this general move down, then it burst to the upside. Also, I'm not seeing any news on this. Here's my Benzinga Pro. I have AMD typed in, so if I see anything on AMD, it will spring up instantly, but I'm not seeing anything right now. So I will let everyone know if I see anything on this name. We just dropped with the viciousness as well on AMD, so to say AMD is a little bit directionally confused would be accurate, and maybe an understatement. But also shout out to Sean, apparently taking this one short.
Yep.
Says Sean. So Sean short AMD. I'm sure he's AM destroying this one, and he certainly is right now with that big push to the downside. Also, thank you so much, Papa Powell, for the $199 super chat. $95 million buy in DJT at 68. Holy moly, fam. Let's take a look at DJT.
A past caller.
Hey, you need to stop calling me like all the time, Papa Powell. We have things to do, okay? You're just speaking on Friday when everyone's having Good Friday, so deal with it then. Bye.
Yeah, stop calling, bro.
We mean it.
Go ahead.
Okay. There we go. All good. But yeah, this is. I mean, also look at the sea of green in the level 2, because wow. Massive sea of green here on the level 2, but we're kind of oscillating here below VWAP. This to me looks like one of Sharif's patented flat bottom breaks.
Oof.
At VWAP, and it was up on the day too, so it's not always the case, right, that we'll have these, but you know, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, quadunk, to use another Sharifism. We pop back into VWAP. Yeah, this is quite a look, but I totally see what you mean. There was certainly a lot of strength there on this chart earlier, and certainly lots of opportunities. And with that in mind, let's bring up this one as well, Reddit, RDDT. I always forget this one's on the NY, because to me, I always think Reddit and I go NY. Like, it makes more sense to me that, you know, there's certain things don't make sense. This is a social media related play, so I did think it was going to be in the NASDAQ, but alas, it does not. Shout out to Obi for killing this trade earlier. Sean also killing this one. So everybody on the big desk killing this one, using the force there to trade that Reddit. But yeah, this is, honestly, don't have a huge read on this chart, which is kind of languishing here below VWAP, darting in and around that 9 EMA. So you're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Still up 10% in the day. Reddit does not want to quit. You know, you say Reddit and forget it. Reddit's like, no, I can't. We'll continue to go to the upside. So dancing right now around 65. Highest print of the day, 74.80. So, whew. Nice look. Also, I just want to quickly talk about this trade. Thank you to Sharif for pointing this one out to me. I took a meta short here at this 510 failed break, because as Sharif pointed out, Meta could not break 510. Well, I was in this. We kind of scuffled around 510, and it was like, not really. So, I mean, it ended up working out. I ended up reversing, though, and going long, because we were actually holding this area pretty nicely, and it became kind of rangy, and we know when I see ranges. The little light bulb in my brain goes, so we're going to try to take this. We're only giving this like 30 pennies. So if we break below that 508.70 area decisively, I'm going to have to get out. I've watched this bounce off that level a couple times though. So there's some kind of trampoline-like effect at that level. So I'm comfortable staying in this for now. Pitchbull asking me if there's any news on PLTR. I don't remember hearing anything earlier, and I don't see anything right now on my blotter. But if I see anything, of course, everyone shall be apprised of the info. What are you looking at?
I'm in the Cybertruck, already wet my beak through the break of 183, but we're having trouble breaking through one. There's a hidden seller on Tesla at 183. There's not enough size on the book there to justify holding up, especially with the amount of size coming in there on the tape. We'll see if this one can hold up at this level. Already took the majority of the position now. I'm looking for a 183 break. It's curling, right? Higher lows, higher highs. Now it's been bouncing off the 20 period the majority of the morning. If we can make it possibly back here, mean revert 182.50, 183.50, 184-ish on TSLA. It's up 6%, guys. So it's not a bad look. Here comes 183 and again, and we reject off 183 again. So there's clearly something afoot with that whole dollar level. We'll see if we can get that break. I'm going to try to pack my patience here and see if we can move higher on the day. We already have a 184.25 HOD at the moment on TSLA, so we'll have to see if this one can make its way back. VWAP is hanging south of 182. It's at let's just say 180, 160 or thereabouts. So my line in the sand on this one, if it doesn't break 183 on this attempt, I'll try again, but it'll have to stay above 182.75. So for breaks below 75, we're gonna cut it. And here comes 75, and then it popped right back up above 75. I was just about to hit the flat button, I swear. And then it popped up another 20 cents. But I think we're gonna have trouble here with the whole dollar level, especially with this market, you know, not really pumping to the high side, rejecting off that 18,575. That's where we closed out yesterday on the NQ. So it'll be nice if we could break above that level, go green, or sorry, that's not, what am I talking about here? That's yesterday's level, excuse me. I've got my, I'm all in 6s and 7s here, as the British likes to say. I got that level a little wrong. Anyway, that's fine. Let's watch Tesla here for that 183 break. Again, we come into 183, and again, we find a seller, a hidden seller hanging out at that whole dollar level. When do we break? We're not getting one print. There we go. Finally, 183.01. Let's see if we can continue. Nice, Tesla. All right, let's head to the high side. Try to stay above 183 now, Tesla. To caress and serenade the stock to do what I want, man. Let's go, baby. Let's head up into that 183.50, and then we'll look to take it out. All right, the future coming in to that volume weighted average price on the NQ March contract, June contract, 18,567 or thereabouts is where VWAP is. We rejected off at once on the 5-minute look. Let's see if we can break it now, Daryl.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like awkwardly like languaging here because this meta situation got a little bit dicey. I wasn't able to get out until around VWAP, and I literally everything was keyed correctly. I was like waiting meta. I was like meta, why am I not out? So there, and then yeah, I had a resting order to buy. Now of course that fills, but I like this too because we have had this kind of bounce off of VWAP. I'm gonna give this into like 508s, but yeah, the spread with meta, as I mentioned, is why this is a stock I trade a little bit more hesitantly, but I do like the range we have going on this. I think the biggest issue is I should have, especially if I wasn't getting out, I should have just kept in and seen waited to see what we do at VWAP because we're holding VWAP pretty well. We haven't gone below 508, right? So I think the management here was a little bit questionable, but also Meta, why are you holding me hostage? Like if I want to leave the trade, let me leave the trade. But yeah, you know, all jokes aside, did not love what happened there, but if we give up VWAP, I will be having to give up the ghost on Meta for now. But yeah, thanks again to Sharif for putting out this short because I had a lot of fun trading this range area earlier.
Short, by the way, I should have taken that with you.
No, it's yeah, because it was kind of bamboozling though because we also did have the higher lows, but you're right, like the failure of the 510 was like the thing that was really singing there in Meta. So yeah, I had to look at other stocks though as well because I didn't mention this before. I have this weird thing, I don't know what to call it, where right when I start the day, I will just start, like whatever stock I start trading, I feel like I need to be married to it for the next half hour. That's not a thing. So I'm trying to be a little bit more, you know, kind of diverse and trading other stocks other than just the first one I start trading. That being said, you know, we're still in Meta, but Nvidia riding this 90 EMA to the upside. I like this. Oh, it tells me levels from yesterday. I love that. Well, I like this 90 EMA bounce off this 946 areas into 948s. I heard Obi talking about 947 Nvidia earlier today. That was the level I was looking at yesterday. So if that's still in stir, that's something I might play around with as well. Also Tesla is still really interesting. Like I totally, because I know you had that long there because it had these little marches to the upside. It's certainly trying to decide, you know, if it would like to full self-drive or half self-drive at this level, but we're gonna have to see. It's certainly a self-driving stock, that is for darn sure. But right now, I really think we need to manage Meta because apparently Meta has no patience or no qualms about just keeping you hostage in there. So got to keep an eye on her and that spreader. How are you?
I like
still looking
it.
at the Cybertruck?
No, out of that. So broke right as it broke 75. We did what we said we'd do. We took it out. Now it's breaking down, coming right into that 20 period. So if it doesn't hold at the 20 period, which is at 182.25, then I'll be looking for VWAP, which is at 181, say in 2/3 or thereabouts. So we'll look for Tesla. I mean, I'm not married to Tesla. If Tesla ends up, you know, starting to do the consolidation dance here, we'll look at some other names like Google, like Amazon. They're both coming up to the upside right now. Look at Google at high days, right? 150, 154. This is a fantastic look here on GOOGL. It hasn't been the biggest mover. I mean, what was the closing print? The closing print was just south of, 150, excuse me, 07. So we're about $1.50 off yesterday's close. The low of day was 149.98. So we barely broke that 150 area. So good look here on GOOGL. Amazon also curling up. I know the Katina man was short this name, and I think Obi, I don't know if one was short, one was long. It's into a 180 at the moment, looking for that 180.45 or thereabouts. That's HOD. So we'll see if this one can continue to curl. It's putting in a lot of higher highs here, higher lows, and breaking through that flat top at 179.80 or 179.90 thereabouts. We'll keep eyes on that. What are you looking at?
I'm still looking at Meta. I'm still monitoring Meta, babysitting her, because that spread I trust not at all. So we're going to have to see. I don't want to get stuck with Zuck again, because we did get a little Stuckerberg, as I said, trying to extricate myself from this long earlier, because we did have an order ready and it just swooped even lower. I did add a little bit, and this was conscious because we were holding up pretty well at this level right now. We have not decisively dipped below that 508. We did a little bit. We came right back, so we're gonna have to wait and see here. I think this could be a continued move to the downside.
Down.
I definitely think Sharif's earlier inclinations in the short in this, which is again, shout out to Sharif, because that was why initially I was inspired to look at this short. I think this is less of a range trade than I wanted it to be. Long story short. Pun slightly intended. But we're gonna have to see here. I do have a beak wetter set at 508.80. Should we get there? Nice. I hope we do, not hopium, just chart patterns. That was a level we like to kind of bump our heads up against earlier. Then we used it as support. So I like resistance becoming support, but I recognize it can become resistance again. So we have to be ready, be nimble, and be quick and take advantage of these trades. Also, Tesla. Tesla.
No, it's coming down, Adara. Broke 182. So Tesla finding some, let's say, midday weakness here. But keep your eye on that 181, I'm going to say in 2/3. So look at that mid-60s area, because that's where the volume-weighted average price is. Both attempts at VWAP earlier, the first one at 10:30, the second one at 10:30, the first one at 10:05, all got held up. So we never broke below VWAP. That is, essentially, since the opening bell, we haven't been below the volume-weighted average price. So this will be an interesting area here if we break down below that level on TSLA. We're getting a lot closer. We're mid-90s at the moment. So, yeah, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. I'm muted for the Chilean Nightmare's ears. Yes. He gave me the thumbs up. Yes, I got you, Fabian. I got Ram when I'm slurping. I got you guys when I'm sneezing. Shout out to the undefeated production team. Here comes that 181 2/3 on TSLA. Do we hold up at these levels? A lot of interest in Tesla today, up well over 6% at the highs, but now giving back a little bit here. And we haven't looked at any small cap gappers. Look at that in a hot second. I'm keeping my eye on Nvidia 950 though. Before we get to the small cap gappers, we had a nice trade on Nvidia down at 940. Not Nvidia, it was NVDL we traded today positively. And it was off that double bottom at 940, held that for a little bit as it moved into like that 942, 943 area. But with this 950 area has been interesting. Initially because, well, we were wicking off it in the morning, so that IB low area was wicking off 950, and then we gave up the ghost. It looks like really gave up the ghost right at 1025 there. There's that monster candle that prints initially at 950.41 and closes at 942.62. That's all in one 5-minute candle. This is actually what precipitated me to get into NVDL. This hammer candle here, usually when you see these candles after a big, huge red candle like that, it is usually a reversal candle, at least on the micro time frame. And this way it ended up panning out because it moved up a couple of bucks. But I'm digressing. I got eyes out on 950 on NVDA. That is also the closing print from yesterday. Even better, the $50 level, the closing print. VWAP is also at that 950. Pivot points, if you like pivots is hanging out in the high 950s, just below 951. So a lot of stuff pointing at that 950 level on NVDA, and that's what we like around here. We like confluence, baby, when a lot of the technical indicators, and even better if the price is all pointing in that direction. 950 NVDA, have eyes on that level one way or the other. It should set up for an interesting trade. Back to TSLA, because we're looking at that. We're awfully close now to the volume weighted average price, but like we were talking about when we talked about in the lesson taking these trades, there's some people who are going to wait at VWAP, and there's some other people who are going to wait for VWAP to actually be the level that they think it is and wait for the curl up. Implicit in that statement is you miss some. you miss some of the entry. You get a worse entry by waiting. That goes without saying. We're at VWAP right now. We just broke through the $0.50 level. I'm talking about Tesla, 180, 150. We just broke through that. My friend Neil likes to say, getting it on the back end, and by that he means when it's a big downtrend, you need to prove to me that you're going to hold up at these levels vis-a-vis a couple of green candles. We'll wait for those to come in. Neil just posted, did you see his pirate ship in the chat? Looked like he's having a good old time down there. Shout out to the Neil.
Yeah, no, shout out to Neil and his pirate ship. He looks very happy. Pleased as punch in Florida there, as he should be, because I'm sure it's warm and not rainy, as is the inclination right now in Toronto.
Is it raining outside?
I think it was.
Ooh.
Yeah, I believe it was. But yeah, still in Meta, and Meta is doing a grand sum of nothing.
Uh-oh.
It's always fun when you're just kind of in a trade and you're like, do I leave? Do I go? There's no reason to leave.
Tesla's
but also we're kind of doing nothing, right? So we're going to see. I'm actually going to change my area of exit, though, because I've noticed where we're popping up to. And I think that this is maybe a bit more realistic. So I have a beak winner still at my 508.80, but I'm going to get the other half out at 508.49 because we pumped up to that area really nicely. Very specific level, yes, but I'm just trying to get better at these micro scalps. And with that in mind, thank you so much to Kyle Burdett for the insight here, talking about he was referencing Sean's AMD short and saying that, like, you know, when you look at these, looking at the SPY volume to kind of use as the impetus for some of these shorter term trades. So I thought that was really cool. AMD?
What's going on over there,
Sean celebrating his AM dollar club.
I like that.
He's go AMD, go Sean. He looks very pleased as punch there. Just chilling, waiting with his trades. So yeah, you can see Sean Anobi again in about 2.5 hours and the afternoon show. So there's Sean, and shout out Sean. And yeah, like lots of times in the market, I'm still in Meta. Sean's still on the screen.
Researching the podcast.
Researching the podcast, yeah. I have some notes with that too. I will send you everything, but that's neither here nor there. Check out the podcast every Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
Bang.
But yeah, still in Meta. Meta's doing nothing. There's 1230 Wolf, I believe, mentioning Google here in the chat. Google's a nice look, but here's what makes me nervous about Google as a long. Look at this topping tail candle on the 3. We push up into 151.60s, which is like the high of day, 150, 158. Then we kind of push lower, right? So I want to see a nice, decided 9 EMA bounce until I decide to, hop into Google and decide to search for an entry point here. And I say that because we were riding the 9 EMA really nicely earlier, so I don't want to go until I see a continuation of that trend. That being said, I think the upward movement is really nice, but I mean, even in the 5-minute candle, you can see this topping tail candle kind of moment we have here, right? If we follow this on the 5 with a green candle even, that might be enough confluence for me, but I really want to make sure I have confluence before getting involved. And I'm pretty sure Google's about to prove me wrong here and make a fool out of me, because Google's like, oh, we're going to make a new high a day. So go Google. Also, it looks like we're out of Meta. So, we still have a little bit in Meta, I guess. But no, pleased as punch. We did get one of those beak wetters out of Meta there. So, happy I stuck with that trade. I do have a really bad habit of leaving trades because I get, I get bored and I'm like, oh, it's not moving fast enough for me. So happy I decided to stay with the course there, because that is a huge part of trading that I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of. So there we go. Tesla falling below VWAP here, but kind of coming to an interesting level. Shall we bounce at 180, 117?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Very interesting.
Also,
level.
why are AMD and Tesla within cents of each other? Like, this is so funny. So Tesla right now, 180, 150, it just bounced massively. I think this might be a long area. And AMD at 180, 131. So I mentioned this bounce area and it bounces. So like, Tesla, you listening to me now? Cool. But I think, honestly, this might have bounced too fast for me to get involved. But if we don't reject off VWAP, I think there could be some long opportunities here. Always looking for those micro ranges and micro levels. Happy I'm out of Meta, so now I can look at another trade. How are you doing?
it. Well,
I see Amazon.
Yeah, we're nicely in the money on AMZN. Look, this is what I see on Amazon. I saw a flat top at that 179.75 area. Okay, and we had a lot of trouble breaking through that in the morning, and then we broke through it. And then we came back to it and defended it as a level of support. So that prompted me to get into the trade. I'm long 92s. I already took some profit at 80s. I'm looking for a move up. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what's realistic for AMZN on the day. It's up 0.18 when the market is up 0.3. So it's underperforming the market. I'm thinking maybe like that $0.50, that $0.25, if it makes its way up there, we'll take some out up at that level next. So we'll see on AMZN what it does on the day. So Yeah, okay, Tesla, it did that aggressive dip at the volume weighted average price. It broke VWAP aggressively. Let's call a spade here, man. It broke VWAP, but look where the closing print is. It's north of VWAP on the 5-minute chart. This is not me making stuff up. This is literally what happened. The opening print on Tesla was at 181.87. The closing print was 181.72, okay? So that's 15 cents off each other. Look how low this candle goes. This goes to 181.15, right? So, well, if this 5-minute candle here makes a new high, say above 182, I'm probably just going to get long Tesla again because that's a VWAP hold. I mean, for real, for real. And then you get a 5-minute candle to make a new high. So that's what I'll be looking there. And in addition to that, this is a hammer candle if I've ever seen one, okay? I'm not saying that it's going to end up going higher, but I'm seeing all the right things. Check mark, check mark, check mark. Great. Now we have to actually see the move manifest. So we're going to pack our patience, see what we can get on TSLA, if we can get that, that nice move up. Amazon, all right. Okay, go Amazon. Nicely in the money here, about, what are we in the money about? Almost 30 pennies in the money right now on AMZN as it breaks through 180.15. Let's see if we can get something at the $0.25 right there. All right, here comes the $0.25. I'm going to flatten out near the $0.25 area or thereabouts. Here comes 20. We've got 22s on the ask, and that's I'm going to cut it right there. So that's a nice trade for me. Let's see if this one can continue to go. I'm pleased as punch about this trade. Again, none of these trades are really big money makers, but I'm just trying to get the reps in, and then maybe we'll increase share size in a month or two. But right now, just trying to get the proper reps in and to do things the right way. So nice move right now on AMZN. Now we have to flip back to Tesla because we're done with this trade. Now Tesla, as I finished yapping about, if this gets above 182 on a 5-minute close, I'm going long. Oh, sorry, I told someone I'd look at Reddit. Sorry about that. Let me pull up this side chart over here, and we'll talk about RDDT. So you saw the monsters this morning. You saw the Katina man with like a $500 winner on Reddit. The OB1 Kenobi, he had a $400. I'm kidding, of course. They had big bangers on Reddit today. And I got to tell you, this is the trade, and I looked over to Sean, I said, nice trade. I don't know if he knows why I said to him, nice trade, but it's this over here. I love dip trades. And look at this opening print at 9:30. Look at the low, 623.20. Look at this candle over here at 10:40. Low, sorry, I said 623, I meant 63.31. That's a low on this candle over here, 63.31. On this candle, it's 63.21. They came in within 10 cents of each other on a 60 some odd dollar name. So this one, I was actually looking at that when it happened, but I never actually got to putting the order out. I love this level. It's a great double bottom trade. In addition to that, look at the institutional print at 8 a.m. around that same area as well. So you could see that there was a lot of action taking place at that 63 or thereabouts level on RDDT. Anyway, breaking through the volume weighted average price right now with a viciousness. Look at all these topping tail candles. Into 70 though, that should warn you that there is a big seller or a person instituting a short into that $10 level owing to these topping tail candles initially there. That usually means prices are trying to move up and the sellers or the short sellers say, no, you don't. And they get in short or sell at 70. So keep eyes on 7-0. It was a level that proved itself to be important before. My guess is it probably proves itself to be important again if we are to be able to make it up. Right now, this candle, the high on this candle right now is 69. So we'll see if we can make our way up to 7-0 on Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm a little bit speechless because we had some moments occur. Long AMD, I had a resting order here. I like this range. I get in, it drops, we get out. Clean, not fun, but clean. Tesla is where things got messla.
What happened?
So I got involved in this short. I was just really trying to take it because as you said, that 182 level was going to be key, right? So we were going to get at 182s. We couldn't get out. Then it turns out I actually bought into this. So as I got out, I actually added, to the long side. I'm going to stay in this though because I do like that 180 area, or 182 area. So if we keep bouncing off 182, I really have no reason to leave. I'm going to be getting out around this 182.40 area. I wish I had a better plan for this. I probably should have just punched out of this immediately. So, but I see you were also in the Cybertruck and you have a plan. And so I feel like your Cybertruck journey will be a lot less bumpy than mine has already been today. But yeah, shout out to Sharif, shout out to anybody in this Tesla trade and trading in general today. It has been a whirlwind journey. And yeah, basically the impetus for the short, though, I want to talk about is because I like that we had this area earlier support. And when I got it, we actually did resist it pretty well. It ended up being, as Sharif put out, they're kind of a hammer candle, though. So we rejected it, and then turns out we were just revving to go long. So I think I'm going to have to get out of the long here. So this has been quite the journey in Tesla. Very humbling. And yeah, this is what a stock. We call it stressful for a reason, right? That's what I'm going to say here. We call it stressful for a reason. It was a Mesla. It did chop me up. By far my weakest name of the day, because AMD was pretty proud of the risk management on, because I took a really small position to begin with. Instead of continuing to chop in this range, which I thought we kind of would have the propensity to do, instead we fell to the downside. This 90 EMA area could be interesting, but right now I think I'm probably done with AMD. Shout out to Sean, though. Sean, are you still in the AMD short? Yeah. Sean's still in the AMD short, so shout out to Sean there. Meta actually also ranging in a way that's really interesting. Look at this little VWAP bounces up into 508.60. Now, I know
show her chart.
I'm not a huge fan of, like I said, of the spread on Meta. But if Meta's gonna show itself to me and be like, hey, Adara, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm about, I can't really say no. I might have to slide into Meta's DMs, because to me, this range is the most consistent thing I'm really finding amongst these mega cap names. I want to wait to see it happen one more time, because I don't want to go short and then we end up continuing to push to the upside, right? I do like this little perch that we have on VWAP here, so I think I'm going to try to get involved around 508.15. No, I'm tired of talking. Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty. If we break decisively below 508, I'm outie. And I'm going to be taking profits around 508.60, because that, to me, has been a pretty clear area. Just really, again, trying not to find trades where there are none, and just sticking with the trades that are presenting themselves to me, saying, hey, Adara, come join. So this is what I like right now, with M to the E to the T to the A. Keeping an eye on AMD, sort of, and of course, Tesla is never far out of sight. What are you looking at?
Nothing, just looking at Google right now. It's coming into 152, so 151.98. Right now is the HOD, keeping an eye on that. Let's see what Google does on the day. I think it's one of the strongest names. Well, Tesla is the strongest name. 5 and a 5th, followed by Google. I actually mean Google at 1 1/4. We'll see now if we can break that 152. I mean, I don't think 152 is a specific level. It's the whole dollar level. So that's what I'll be looking at. I'm at a Tesla. I'm not going to trade Tesla and Apple today. I found them hard to trade. Well, I had a decent trade on Tesla. That's maybe a bit of an overstatement, but I don't have a read on its VWAP right now. I thought we would get a nice bounce off VWAP. It's breaking decisively below the volume weighted average price. So what I'm waiting for is a 152 touch on Google.
Nice, yeah. Sorry, I completely missed the boat there. We're back in Meta. It looks like Meta has decided to break down a bit, so this is, I think, probably going to have to be my exit from this trade. As planned, we break decisively below VWAP, and I break decisively out of the trade. So there we go. All good. Not my finest hour, but I have to show Kyle Burdett mentioning apparently saying there's some decent scalp opportunities in a range for AMD in the 1 minute. And I was looking at this one on the 3, but let me take a look at this on the 1. Oh, I see what you mean. There's certainly some little rangy opportunities here, and I like this base here of that 180.80 area, right? So more or less where I got out of that long when we fell below, because I was looking kind of for previous support. I think this is something I want to stare at it a little bit longer, but I think if you take this like 180.80 to 181 like 05, that gives you about 20 cents. 25 cents. So I might do that still in the sim as I learn and grow, though. Hopefully not for long, because as I talked to Sharif, I have had conversations. I had a conversation with Breakouts, and I'm going to be taking steps to exit the sim and paper trade. Or not paper trade, real trade. That was
live
really
trade, baby.
Live. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Still, I will only be trading here on the how to trade, because that is just I have like a lot of stuff that I do otherwise, and I want to continue to focus my time here on Trader TV Live. But yeah, I'm considering that is something that is in the works potentially. So trying to get some last good hurrahs with here with the paper trade, but I think this is something I want to get involved in here. This AMD taking it with slightly less shares and trying to take this up into 181s. So I think this is, Sean's short this, and generally I feel like going counter trend, Sean trades has not always worked out well for me. I'm really just trying to scalp this, and then we'll scalp it short when we come back to the other side. So that's going to be my plan here. I like that little burst we got in AMD. Keep it coming. I want to take a little piece of victory here. I was trying to think of an AMD pun for that, but
I like it.
Yeah, hopefully we don't regret this AM decision. There we go.
Someone tagging me in the chat telling me that there's a 152.15 level on Google. Clockin tax. Okay, sure. Great name. But yeah, this is what he's talking about over here. Let's bring in the side chart. Okay, well, I'll do that in a second because 152 got taken on Google now. 152.06 HOD. Yeah, I know, bro. Honestly, this thing is headed to the high side. Great day for Google today. Uninterrupted. How many green candles in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green 5-minute candles in a row. I gotta be honest, there's one kind of doji red candle in there, but that doesn't count because there's like literally no body on that candle. Anyway, keeping an eye on Google. I don't want to punch, obviously, long 152. That's not my move here. We're going to have to wait for a dip trade of sorts. Where to get in, that's going to be a random area because we have just such a big, uninterrupted move up. It's hard to see what the levels of support are on Google here on a move down. So keeping eyes on that. We'll see what we get on Google. Let's bring in some weed names here. We haven't talked about CGC or ACB. Shout out to the weed names doing excellent today, and it's been multiple days, an election year, so we could get some weed talk with the presidential candidates. Last time around, weed was running aggressively on Kamala Harris's comments during her debate with Mike Pence and what she said about federal legalization. Weed ended up running quite aggressively after that, but that's a few years back now. Anyway, CGC up big. Last time this touched the volume weighted average price was over here at 1035, and the price was 691. Well, that seems like a really long time ago because right now the HOD on CGC is 824. We're south of 8 right now. We're at the 10-period moving average. We're trying to hold on. Let's see if we can get back above $8. This stock has done that magnetic pullback effect that the one that Knob always talks about with the 10-period. Look at the move up. It doesn't break the 10-period, save and except for one candle over here at 1035, and that's the one that touched the VWAP, right? Otherwise, all the closing prints, every single one since we've opened up at the bell, 9:30, has closed above the 10 EMA on CGC. So the dip trades have paid on this if you've taken a dip trade at the 10. Right? Now, look, my platform allows me to drag my buy entry. Now, we can't do this on our thing, but look at this. So if you guys have this on your platform, drag your buy entry and move it to the 10 period as it moves. The 10 period is dynamic, right? It doesn't stand still, it moves with the price. So if you put your 10 period or your dip trade at the 10 period right now, it's at 782, but the next 5-minute candle could be 790. Just giving you a random example. Anyway, so keep your eye on CGC. Really good trade today, up 27.75%, but not to be outdone, well, maybe outdone by percentage-wise, but certainly not chart pattern-wise. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, Canadian cannabis name. It's done the exact same thing with the 10 period that CGC did. The 10 period is the green solid line on my chart. Look at this. There hasn't been one print that goes below the 10 period on my chart. Forget about the closing print. This hasn't even broken below the 10 period since the open. So great name on the day. Closed out yesterday at $4.14. It printed $4.89 right now. The low of days just south of 4 at $3.92. So it's been a great look for ACB. Now, keep in mind that we do have some possible resistance at that $5 area, not just because it's the whole dollar area, but because yesterday we did a dance with $5, albeit in the pre. It was in the pre-market. Now I usually look at pre-market prints with a little bit more suspicion. Definitely don't give them the type of weight and credence that after the bell print gets. But anyway, $5 likely to be a local resistance level on ACB. Keep your eye on that. And if you want to get shorts, I'm not telling you it's going to be a short, but if you want to secure the shorts, maybe go for that at the moment. Let's look at DJT. Big move up for this name today. Closed out yesterday just south of $50. The high a day is 79.38. We've retraced though, and we look like we might be trying to hold, I guess, this pre-market top. So in the pre on DJT, we had a bit of a top of $65 or thereabout, owing to this area over here at 6 to 630, and then the institutional prints got into 65 as well. Then look at this print over here at 850, and then again at 910, all topping out at 65. And then over here, once we broke the volume weighted average price at around 1105, 1110, look where the bottom is. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Right at that $65, $66 area. And now again, we're finding support yet again at 65, 66-ish area. So we'll see if this pre-market top over here acts as a level of resistance for DJT. You're likely going to have to give this one some space with the stop. And by that I mean, you know, a 10, 20, even 30 penny stop here may not do it. And if it does, you may have to get into the same trade multiple times in order to let it manifest because, well, number one, it's spready. Number two, it's moving dollars at a time, guys, right? And if that's the case, well, then usually, you know, that's a bad recipe for a tight stop. So we'll keep eyes on DJT. A lot of great names. We haven't even talked about VERI or MESO. We'll talk about those later, but there's a lot more small caps that are absolutely in play that have all the check marks beside their name above the pre-market high, definable pre-market high, trading above the volume weighted average price. All those check marks that we look for on these small cap gappers. So we'll have eyes on that. But as I see it, the future right back into 15,575, the volume weighted average price. But we've been doing the wick shimmy dance. Look at all these wicks in the VWAP here, all of which have been rejected on the NQ June contract. We are putting in some higher lows, albeit, you know, not by much, but let's keep an eye here to see if we can reclaim VWAP and make it into 600.
Yeah, this has been what a market. So many different levels, so many different things that are moving today. AMD, I was micro scalping on this 1 minute chart. Triangles galore. We ended up, I have to say, I was pretty proud of the initial kind of movements on here. So I basically got in around 180, 80s, I think 180, 88. Then I added at 181. Then I took some out at 180.16. The plan was to keep doing that. Then we pushed up with the viciousness. We decisively broke above 810 and I got out. 181.10. So that's where I got out. Also, though, it is worth noting, I did accidentally fat finger some of this out earlier, just to be upfront about that. But you know, we're getting slightly better about the fat finger, so small victories. Slightly down in this name, but you know, only way to go is up. And I do feel a little bit better about the trading every day. These 1 minute scalps did make me feel alive a little bit here at AMD. So that's the type of stuff I want to be doing. 1 minute chart, super tight scalps, taking 20, 30 pennies if I can, with slightly larger size and good risk management. So hopefully we can see that continue in the day. That's going to be my goal. And that's hopium that I'm okay taking because it's stuff that's all controllable by me, right? I just being more comfortable in the levels I'm getting in at and having ranges and having a bit more of a plan and making sure the size is working accordingly. So that's my little take on AMD. Also, super chat here from Papa Powell once again hitting up the chat. Thank you very much. 199 super chat. Watch Cron for a swing. Most undervalued pot stock with a little 4-leaf clover emoji. So let's see what kind of luck we get in Cron, C-R-O-N. Oh, this is nice. Volume's not bad either. 2.81 mil volume. Yeah, Sharif just said a lot of really valuable stuff there about these weed-related stocks. Basically, they tend to move a lot of news. So we did have that Germany legalization or partial legalization of cannabis on Friday that seems to have given a lot of these names a nice move up. Also, I'll say as well, a lot of these do get mentioned quite a lot on Twitter. So I have some of that social media hype continuing to push these ones to the upside. So let's take a look at the daily chart as well on Cron, because you did mention a swing trade. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like there's, I think, a very clear support area you could potentially look at this 230. And you know, this isn't, I mean, we're talking about this less as a small cap and more as a weed stock. But one thing to keep in mind as well with this kind of move is, unlike where you have a lot of these stocks that will kind of lay low until they have a catalyst and then spring to the upside and then hibernate again, Cron has had kind of a steady uptrend. We have these little pops and then we continue lower, but we're not really making lower lows. If anything, we're making higher lows. So definitely not a bad look. I do see what you mean. Again, not advice just to take on the chart, but I do think that 230 area could be interesting support. And I say that because A, it was previous resistance, and B, we kind of had that pop there and haven't seen it in a while. So I do think that area, especially given the higher highs we had up into that, could be an interesting area for a little bit of support. So thank you very much there for Papa Powell for that super chat. And I think I'm picking up what you're putting down there on CRON. And also, let's talk for a second about the bamboozlement that was Meta. I get out basically bottom wick, and then Meta's like, oh, I'm joking. We're still going to keep moving up. So that's okay, Meta. Do your thing, 21. I'm not here to judge. But bamboozlement central here on Meta. And we pop up to, this was actually going to be my area. I was going to exit that 508.60. But c'est la vie. Look at the trades you took, not what the market did to you. That's not an actual saying, but it could be. But yeah, basically just trying not to dwell on the past, moving on, looking forward and seeing what the market has next for me. Also, Obi's sitting here. I'm actually kind of looking at Amazon. He's in the Amazon right now. I'm joking. I don't know if he's in Amazon, but he's in the zone. Pardon? Oh, he just got out. Okay, nice. So Obi's saying he just got out. It might have been too early. But yeah, shout out to Obi earlier, who was definitely in the Amazon. Amazon, I know you were in delivering some profits there for you as well, Sharif. So
yes, ma'am.
Amazon, an interesting one. Continuing, we had this bottom here, and this bottoming tail candle, look at this at 9:54 in the 3-minute. Then we continue to ratchet up to the upside. So nice look here. We did have this pseudo topping tail candle at 180.30, so we'll have to see what it has to do there. I think a couple bamboozling candles on Amazon, but looks like it's continuing its trek to the upside. I will be watching what it does here at this 180.70 level, because that was, I think, A, it was VWAP in the morning, and B, a massive area of support in the pre.
Obi says ARM is moving.
Obi says ARM is moving, so let's take a look at ARM. Oh! Indeed it is. ARM's an interesting one. We had, I do not want to say a flat bottom break, but we had certainly the makings of that earlier, right? We have this bottom of this 140.40 that we had in the pre, then we come back, we make this higher high, spike up into almost 145. High of day is 145 even. We come back to 140.40, make a lower high at 142.80, and then come back to test this area again. So thank you, Obi, for putting this one out to us all. Obi giving us a helping hand, or helping arm, I guess, with ARM. This is one I will be looking at. I see you have a trade.
Yes, we are short AMZN with tight. I mean, sorry, not AMZN, because we were talking about Google. This is what I see. I see a topping tail candle, so I'm going to give this the old college try. We'll see. I'm going to give this one a tight stop, so it'll have to hold below 152.10. I've already got a beak wetter sitting just a little bit below there, so we'll see exactly what we get on Google. It's not a big trade or anything, so we'll whether we profit or lose on it, we'll wait, see here. But this is why I got in this candle here, topping tail candle, showing me possible seller strength, right? So if the shorts are going to get in here, we'll look to take some profit. So Google short right now at this 152, owing to this topping tail candle. There is some strength, though. Let's be real about it. I've been watching the tape while Adair was dropping hot lines and looking at ARM, and there does seem to be some strength supporting this at the 152 level. So if it comes in, it comes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right, let's see what else is moving on on the day. Yeah, so this one dipped aggressive. I'm talking about DJT. So this was a nice move. We were talking about this 64, 65 level being that area of support, and it comes into play. But this, I was talking about 65. You would have had to got this at 64. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to give it that much room. That'd be an entire dollar that I would have had to give it in space there for the stop, because I would have been sitting at 65 for a dip. And this one actually broke 64. It went to 63, 62. So the range is wild on these, but the general area holds, and it shoots right back up of almost $5 there from 64 into 69. So you would have been in the money super quick. However, you would have had to been able to withstand that dollar move against you, and that definitely is not my cup of tea there. The future's pumping. I'm keeping an eye on the future because it's at local highs here, 18,581. Let's flip back to see what Google is doing. What are we doing? We're still fighting at 152. An epic war here happening between buyers and sellers. We're not resolving either way. I would have to say that this is probably better for the bulls than it is for the bears because we're having trouble breaking below 152. So if this doesn't go for me, I'm only giving this 11 pennies worth of range, right? But the fact of the matter is I'm making this observation and it looks as if there's more strength bringing this one up than there is bringing it down. So it looks like we're going to get stopped out for a 10 penny loser. And here comes, and there it is. So we'll get out there as it pops right back up above 152.15. Now negative on the day, but albeit very barely negative. So we'll look to get out of negative world with this next trade.
Yeah, I'm also in negative world, so hopefully we can make that journey together to positive paradise. I don't know. But no, it's not going to be in this trade. I tried to take AMD short here. I watched a couple times for that failure of that 182 break, and AMD was like, haha, you thought. You thought you were going to do this. You were wrong. I was wrong. And then I get out and it goes back below 182. So I clearly thought incorrectly, but we tried. We had really tight risk management. We lost very little on that trade. So yeah, that was a scintilla of shares as well. So just try to what I'm trying to do is take more advantage of movement instead of just talking about a move, missing it, and then trying to make up for a trade that isn't going to be coming to fruition as much. Also, sorry, it's my chart. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I just noticed that. I was like, ooh. But yeah, no, that Google chart is a lot nicer looking than this AMD though. But honestly, I'm really just proud of seeing the moment and trying to seize the opportunity. If we keep valuing this 182 though, I might try to do this again. But really the biggest issue that I'm trying to work on right now is mitigating the loss in the moment. You can come back to the trade later. As Obi said, where's the next trade? And right now, Tesla falling below this 181.20 area here. So this could be a bit of a tasty short. I may have missed the opportunity to jump into that Cybertruck. However, I like this chop and turn at this 180.40 area here. And Tesla has been really receptive, at least in terms of, briefly parking the Cybertruck for a charge at earlier key levels. So look, we bounce here a couple times off this 182, more or less 182. Then we pop up into it, reject it. Then we kind of chop and turn a little bit at this 182.20 before continuing to fall to the downside. So Tesla today has been pretty receptive of previous levels. So it's definitely something I don't want to miss out on. If there are some opportunities here as well. Tim is in saying, look at UPS for me. I'm short at 152. Let's take a look at UPS and see what kind of trading opportunities this one will expedite for you. Okay, this is a massive move to the downside, massive volume. All I have to say is, if you're short this, congrats to you. I don't have a huge read on this because the only read I'm seeing is down to the downside. However, one thing I will say that I like on this earlier in terms of potential areas is look at this flat bottom break esque at 152. It's not perfect because the bottom isn't perfectly defined, but this was on the 3-minute. We had these lower highs, then we break below 152, come to top and turn a little bit, and then break once again with a viciousness. So I think this is a really nice look here for UPS. They actually had some positive catalyst earlier today that I'm seeing. They expecting revenue of 108 billion to 114 billion and free cash flow of 17 to 18 billion. They actually did trade higher earlier today and then flew to the downside. But yeah, UPS, honestly, congrats to you. No matter where you got in on this, there's a lot of good opportunities for getting in on this. In terms of areas that I'd be watching for, in terms of potential support, this 150 area, if this could resist because we did that little pop earlier of support, but if that doesn't resist, that could be an area to keep an eye on. 151, where we had this beautiful rangy chop and turn for a little while, was also an area I would watch. And then, of course, where we had that quadunk at 152. And I will pull up the daily as well for potential profit areas. Of course, just a read on the chart and not advice. But yeah, we're kind of in a key area right now around 147, just shy of 148, because look at where we had this chop and turn for a while there earlier. I don't think that's a bad look. And then below that, we have this 146, where there's also a little bit of chop and turn. So I think that those would be probably my two key areas to keep an eye on. Honestly, though, this one, it's whatever the opposite of a blue sky setup, a red ground setup, a lava setup, I don't know. This one falling to the downside, but actually looking like it's trying to pick up a little bit at 148. So hope that helps. Tim is in. Certainly the shorts were in for UPS, and I'm happy you were able to take some opportunities with that stock. Philippe also asking, can we take a look at Apple, please? So yeah, we can. Or Felipe. I think Felipe. Let's look at Apple quickly, and then I will pass it off to Sharif, or the bearded wonder, as Sean called him this morning. Sharif.
I haven't been the bearded wonder since September, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Why not?
I just thought I saw it. I was like, oh, I like that one. But yeah, Apple's actually the type of trade I like. Because look at this VWAP bounce we have, and this more or less range of 170.50 to 170.80. This is a nice look here in AAPL. Honestly, I would say Apple, as Sharif often calls it, the dead one, because we're just kind of chilling here, right? We had that big move down on Apple earlier and kind of chop and churn, but we cannot really, in any meaningful way, break above this 171. We tried earlier, and we just kind of continued to peter to the downside. Really strong support at 170.50, mind you, and I think if we bust the top off this 170.80 area, that could be a little bit of strings, but I would want a decisive break above 171, and then I want to see what we do with this pre-market area, 171.30. But yeah, I mean, calling Apple the dead one sometimes isn't accurate today. I would say it's very right on the nose. And I'm going to put this one up in the side chart because this range has me pleased as punch and tickled pink.
I like it. How
are you doing back in Google?
Back in Google, I'm doing a little bit better on it this time. So the short was right, but you know, it's tough. It's tough sometimes with the ones that are strong when you're trying to take a mean reversion trade. So now what I'm watching is how we do. What's going on over there, bro? Yes, I do want to see. Do it again. Oh, okay. So I thought it was live. If that goes on TikTok, someone is going to lose their life. Okay.
Oh, it's already on TikTok.
This is on
somebody's
TikTok?
losing their life.
It's a TikTok filter.
I'm not doing the show. I'm not doing the show anymore. I'm joking. All right. No,
that was
seriously.
said so seriously. I was like, what?
No, you know I'm always joking.
I know. I'm not
no, seriously though, what I'm looking at on Google at these levels is if it holds a 10 period, right? So it's finding support at the 10 period. We kept yapping about how Google had support on the 10 period. Nary was there, candle below the 10 period. So now I'm all eyes about what we are doing on the 10 period. And somebody asked me in the chat, they're like 10 period question mark. The 10 period exponential moving average. That's exactly what I meant. Okay, I use exponential moving averages, not simple moving averages, because they more heavily weight the recent price action. If you are investing and you are a fundamental investor, I would suggest using the simple moving average because you don't need to have more heavily weight. Wow, what the hell, Google, bro? Right back up. All right, so we took it out right there. But yeah, I was just watching. The 10 period moving average holds up on GOOGL. But in any event, that's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the 10 period. That is the exponential moving average there.
Nice. Yeah, exponential moving average. Also, an exponential appreciation for your wig that definitely was real. In the chat, there's someone asking if you're going to wear that in the safari. So also some people asking to put one on me.
Wow.
So there we go. Check us out on social media. Trader TV Live. There we are on the Instagram, on the TikTok.
If that's on TikTok, I'd like that removed. So I'm just putting that out there. Okay, go ahead.
There we go. Yeah, anyways, sorry, I'm very amused by this. Also, Calperdad has a super chat for you.
Oh, what did he say?
So he says, Sharif, peach habanero, marinated chicken. Oh, that sounds amazing. Cooked on charcoal is even better than my jerk chicken last week. Bang.
Nice.
That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Enjoy your chicken.
Yes, Kyle.
You know we love chicken dinner winners over here, so.
Thank you very much for the 5 solid super chat. Big Kyle Burdett. Ram says she did not get her chicken, Kyle, so she'd like her chicken. You know, if I don't know what arrangement you and Ram have. Clearly, there's something afoot, so she'd like her $20 Starbucks and her chicken too. Yeah, no problem there.
That's pretty funny. Oh, hi, sorry, I didn't realize we were still, I'm so sorry. I got like swept up in Nvidia. We got filled in Nvidia, so you know that kind of takes up your whole life and soul a little bit. I apologize, I apparently did not realize that. All eyes on me there, so shout out to Tupac. And I'll be getting out of this if we break below this 140. We're gonna give this like slightly less than $1. We're gonna see what we do here around like the mid 942 area. So I'm gonna give this around $1, but we're gonna be trying to take some profits around this 944.50 area. This is really super scalpy and super rangy as we kind of head into that into that 945 area we've been rejecting. I think we are rejecting off the 90 MA, so I intend to stay in this not very long at all. Trying to take some scalps, trying to be a little bit more micro scalpy, and I think we may have failed on this. I'm going to be really, really honest. Should have been looking at the 1 minute on this, but we're how to trade, right? So, you know, if people can learn here from my mistakes and the fat fingers, I'd be pleased as punch, right? So, of course, the goal as well is, you know, for profit, but we're going to mostly just be trying to learn a little bit. Every single day, we're going to get our little beak wetters ready to go. If Nvidia would like to dip its, you know, little beak in the pond, that would be, we'd all be really happy there. So we're going to have to see what happens there in Nvidia. We're more or less near my point of entry. So not too much to report. Let's see what else is happening here. Apple still being the most beautiful range that I've ever seen. So I'm going to have to get involved in this short here because look at this, this bounce off of VWAP, then we come into this 170.80 and reject. I just want to wait. I want to see a test of 171. And I say that because we had a slightly higher high here, which is not giving me a lot of confidence in taking the, thank gosh I did not get short there. We just pushed up here in Apple. Apple heard me talking and was like, oh, we're going to give you that test. So let's see what we do at 171. If we fail 171, it could be a short for me, but I would like Apple to be a little bit more ranging, behave a little bit nicer. It looks like also we're almost entirely extracted from Nvidia. So happy here. We just have one partial fill yet, so we're waiting for to see if the rest of that gets filled. But scintilla of shares left over here, and Nvidia. Please just punch. The rest of this, though, I'm going to have to focus on a short side for NVDA because I think I did go a little bit counter trend here, trying to take that long pop where I think we have a little bit less oomph there in the NVIDIA to the downside. I really should have been focusing on this 90 MA rejection, but right now we're going to try to take the rest of our profits and run away, get out NVIDIA before NVIDIA can smack us around a little bit because NVIDIA can be a bit of a violent stock. I can't believe it's already 12 p.m.
Yeah, I can. All right, we're talking about chart pattern breakouts. We're talking about breakout trades all week. So let's talk a little bit about this one. So the world of technical analysis is filled with patterns. Some of the most valuable for traders are chart pattern breakouts. These patterns act like roadsides hinting at a potential price move. So let's delve into this topic, see what a little bit about this. The chart pattern primer. So imagine price movements forming what we call recognizable patterns on a chart. These chart patterns and are some common examples of them are triangles, flags, pennant, head and shoulders, and cup and handle. Each pattern suggests a potential trading scenario after a breakout occurs. Here are some examples. So you have a triangle pattern on the top left. You always have to look for continuation patterns. You have to look at the trend that preceded them because most likely that they will continue in the direction of the trend. As you can see here, it's a downward trend. Likewise for the bullish pennant chart pattern, bottom left, what's the trend that precedes it? You have to look at that because that is most likely where it will continue. Likewise with the cup and handle and the channel. So these are some basic chart patterns. Here's the breakdown of the breakout. So a breakout happens when the price decisively moves through the boundaries of a chart pattern. This signals a possible change in the prevailing trend. Here's a breakdown for the bullish and bearish breakouts. So the bullish breakout, what we're looking for here is the price to close above the upper trend line of a pattern, like a triangle or a pennant, whatever it is. This will suggest to you that buyers are overpowering sellers, potentially leading to a price increase. Conversely, with bearish breakouts, what you're looking for is the price to close below the lower trend line on whatever, like a head and shoulders pattern or anything where there's a lower trend line. This indicates sellers are gaining control, hinting at a potential price decrease. Here's a bullish example. Again, the trend that precedes it is up. So typically what you have to look for is a break above the upper trend line. Wait for that confirmation and then get long. This is the exact opposite. There's a head and shoulders. You take the short through the break of the neckline. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, denoted by the lines. Pretty straightforward. So not all breakouts are created equal. While breakouts are valuable signals, it's important to be cautious. Well, because there's false breakouts. These can occur when the price flirts with a pattern boundary, but then reverses direction. Here's how to be savvy and try to avoid them. Look for confirmation. Look for additional confirmation signals like a surge in volume alongside the breakout. High volume here will suggest to you more conviction behind the price move, but also look for the closing print on the daily or weekly candle to be above or below that key area of support or resistance. A close on a wider time frame more important than a close on a tighter or shorter time frame. Here's an example: lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Then you get a break and close above that upper trend line, and then you can basically put your stop right below that trend line. That could be your line in the sand there. And here's how you take action with breakout trades. Once you've confirmed the breakout, here are some tips for entering and exiting the trade. So there's two ways to enter these breakout trades: on the breakout itself, or you wait for a pullback. By that I mean, we gave the example of 200. You take the break of 200 on Apple. You get long 200, 201, 202, whatever. Others will wait for that 200 to clear, wait for it to come back, prove itself as a level of support, and then they'll get long. Your stop loss, you always have to use a stop if you want to manage risk. Here, for the longs, you're putting the stop below support. For shorts, you're putting the stop above resistance. You also want to take profits wisely. So you have to look for potential resistance levels for the long. So anything, say, above 1,000 on Nvidia would definitely be a resistance level. Make sure you're taking some profits in front of 1,000. Conversely, for the short, you're putting your stop above resistance. Okay, and chart patterns are probabilistic tools, or not crystal balls. Make sure you're conducting thorough research and managing your risk wisely, and never investing more than you can afford to lose. All right, there it is. There's a lesson.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cherie, for delivering that lesson of the day. And I think, yeah, breakouts are certainly one where you're always going to have a different style to it, right? So some people like to play leading up into the breakouts, or right as we get, as Esri, put there very astutely. Sometimes you want to as well wait for the test, wait for some confirmation. So lots of different ways to play it, and make sure that you're always trying to play it in the way that is the most you. And I think that's one thing as a new trader, you want to experiment within reason, within risk management, to kind of get a sense of what type of trader you are and how you'll play these breakouts. And as I say that, Nvidia tries to take a little dip here. We're recovering at this 943. This is, I think, the base. I've been playing a bit of a range here on Nvidia for some time. If we hold this 943, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to add a little bit to this position, just really trying to target that move up to 945. And Nvidia apparently would like me out. So that's cool, Nvidia. I hear you. I understand. So I'm going to have to be getting out of this. And that's the thing, too, is you really have to, take each trade as it comes. We had some nice trades in Nvidia, then that one came and it was like, nah. Now we are slightly down in the name now, but we are down in the day. But just trying to not take it too hard. Just keep on going, keep on climbing. Apple here, finding some support at the 9 EMA at this previous area of resistance at 171. This is actually a trade that I fancy. I'm a fan. I like this. We're going to get involved in this. And we're going to get out if we break below that 170.80 area, because that was a huge area of resistance earlier. So super tight areas here. We're going to be taking some profit at 171.15. And then we'll reload if we come back. And then I like this 171.30 as an area to get the entire position out by, because look at that resistance earlier, or support earlier. Sorry, that is not something that I would like to stand in front of. But hopefully we get Tim cooking here on this AAPL trade. What are you looking at right now?
Looking at the Cybertruck, trying to hold this VWAP dip that we got to on Tesla. See if we can move into 182 or thereabouts. We're long 79s. Let's see if we can get a move up. We're dancing with 80 at the moment. I'm not sure how much how much I'm going to give this worth of room here. Ideally, we make and break above the volume weighted average price and above the whole dollar level. That's the level that I've been looking at, that 182 level. We've had a lot of action in 182, initially as resistance, and then, initially as support and then as resistance. So we'll see exactly what we get here on TSLA, up over 5%. But it looks like what's waking up right now is Apple, right? Kind of getting off that 170.50 or thereabouts. That's a level that closed off yesterday. So I'm going to get out of this Tesla trade, cutting me up here. Multiple entries into Tesla. So that's the last time I'm going to trade Tesla on the day. Just don't have a good read on it, and that's okay. I didn't have a good read on Apple either. So now let's look at something else and see what is moving. We had a nice dip trade possibility here on Google at the 20-period moving average. And that was an interesting trade because that was the first time it had gotten to the 20-period. And now it's actually, you got two touches at it at that 150, 160 or thereabouts. So we'll see if Google can continue to print. We had a nice short on Google. That topping tail candle came into play. It took a couple of stabs at this name to get it right, but that 150, 160 area holding up, that's a 20 period. And right now it looks as if it's coming into play. So we'll keep eyes on that. a bit of a sideways day, I'd say, a little bit today on the future. I mean, we haven't had much in the way of range, right? The highest print that we've had subsequent to the bell is 18,607, and the lowest print is 18,534. So we're within a 100 less, significantly less, I would say about maybe a 60 some odd, 70 some odd point range on the NQ. Atypical for how things have been trading lately, I'd say. You know, usually we at least get a 100-point range on the day. So we'll continue to watch that. Meta breaking down now into that 507, so that, you know, continuing to print lower. I don't really have any trades at the moment. Keeping my eye on some of this stuff. Let's see what AMD was doing. Sean was in that short earlier. Yeah, it's still printing lower at that 180, 163 area. Yeah, no trades for me at the moment. We'll keep watching for some new stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly am still looking at my little Nvidia, but as Sharif put it, I was trying to figure out like why are things so hard to trade today for ranges? Because the ranges are so small, you can can't even really see them. It's like a couple, like what Nvidia is ranging in $1.50 for Nvidia, that's pennies. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's a pretty small range. Apple is not a range, but that is the one. I just put it in Apple, so apparently that's how my days. Maybe I need a nap. No, I'm joking, an Apple. But yeah, just kept the N from the NVDA there. But AAPL, we are 1 cent in the money here, and now we're 1 cent out of the money. So Apple holding up really well though at my point of entry. So I have no reason to leave. Just chilling. Like I said, we have a hard have to leave time here at stop. The word is stop at 170.80. So that will be where we have to leave. I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee while we look at these charts. I think getting into this 171.15, like I said, that would be a dream come true. But right now, Apple does not produce dreams. It only produces nightmares and very slow moving charts. Nvidia curling back toward that 940. So that's something I'm gonna have an eye on. Right, let's take a look at AMD again because I was trading AMD earlier. We had some AM disasters and some AM decisions, but if we pick up here this 180-160, I really like this because that was an earlier top of that baby range, and then we bounce and we are curling currently below that area. So maybe not the level I thought it was going to be, but I have a couple levels at AMD that I found interesting. So that 180-80 area, pre-market area of interest, it comes back as well to form a little bit of a support here, and then resistance on the 3-minute chart. Then we come again and bounce off this 180.60, so that was an area I liked. Then we come up to that 182 top. Of course, we tried shorting this, didn't work out, we got out. Now this 180.50, 182.50, look at all this chop and churn, continue to fall to the downside. So I do think there's some micro ranges there that we could potentially play. Apple, we're now into 171, so every step counts, Apple. 2 cents in the money. Let's keep going, Apple. We're going to have to cheer Apple onto the upside. We were joking earlier about cheering on Tesla. I think sometimes these stocks just need a little motivation,
They do.
Go, Apple. Go, go, go.
Go, Apple.
Very. How is Very going?
Not bad. We're long, I believe, at 08. Just took some out there at 19s. HOD on VERI is 28, so let's see if we can touch high of day on Vari. It's been a great VWAP trade for whoever was smart enough to put a dip trade on at the volume weighted average price on VERI. I don't think this has broken VWAP since we printed that opening. No, actually, sorry, that's incorrect. So 930 was over here. This one really started moving at 1010 for whatever reason. But since that time, it hasn't closed below VWAP. So we'll see. We'll see the volume weighted average price if it comes back in. Obviously, I'm going to get out because I'm long 608, but I'll be looking to re-up at that level if it comes in. Right now, VWAP on my chart's 582 or thereabouts. We're printing 618s. I'll probably look to take some out if it can break high a day. That is around that $quarter area. Technically, the HOD is 628, but that $quarter area likely the better level. So let's go ahead and sit at the $quarter area. For that last out, we'll see if we can make it up there. Big Kyle says, yeah, we need about a half an hour dump, 30 minutes. I need to hear dump it and let out my best flare. Woo! Yeah, Nate is a man. I don't know what he's up to these days. I saw him on a podcast not that long ago. And he was talking up a storm about some of the old wrestling days there with Hogan and whoever else he was hanging out with at the time. Anyway, VERI up into 620 again, so we'll look for that $quarter print. Maybe we'll wet our beak in and around there. But that's not the only small cap gapper that's moving. We talked about ACB, we talked about CGC, and then this one we haven't mentioned at all. And it goes by the name or the ticker of MESO, Mezzo. Up 61%. That's nothing to sneeze at. right here, guys. And the volume, solid. 43.5 million shares. Let's give some deets on this one. So it's a $401 million market cap given the 61% pump today. And the float, large, 287 million share float. That is quite large. Let's bring in trade ideas and check out the short float, if any. Well, Trade Ideas doesn't have a short float on it, so we don't have data on that, so we'll just let that go. Let me just check quickly here. All right, so we're at 623 here on VERI. Now we're showing fours. Oh, wow, that was a quick dump. So that was another 4-cent dump. I'll just pack my patience, looking for a $0.25 pump. It got into 624, though, on VERI. MESO, though, how do you get into this one? This one's a bit of a toughie. So you have some support, I would say, at that 340 level. See, the thing with this one is you have so many topping tail candles, it's hard to base a trade off it. So you have this topping tail candle at 331, then that one at 39, and this one over here at 47s. So it's a bit tough. What has it been respecting? Well, gotta tell you, not much. It's broken through all my indicators. The one that seems to respect the most is the 10 period, the green one. It's held up there for the most part. Aggressive retracement will take it down to the 20, but it's broken all of them. Broken VWAP, broken the 10, broken the 20 at times. So hard to know exactly where to base this trade. I'm assuming some people have gotten in on like these 10-minute pullbacks. There we go, high a day right now on MESO. It's up 67% now, $3.68 HOD. This one looks like it's poised to go to 4. Let's check the daily. See, is it a former runner? Yes, it is. How do I know it's a former runner? I can just see these big gapping candles over here with huge wicks and no bodies. Well, that typically means we've had a small cap gapper type day in the past. Looks like we split the beginning of the year, 1 to 2 split. So we'll see if that factors in. All right, we got that print, baby, on VERI through the top side. So I'm happy about that. Still negative on the day, still trying to work out of this hole, but happy with this small cap gapper trade.
Lisa's punch for you. A verified banger trade there.
Thank you.
Look at that. So yeah, nice look on VERI. AMD, I had to switch to the 1 minute to scalp this in a way I felt more comfortable. And noticing that, I actually think that this area that we thought was forming as, when I say we, I mean me, sorry about that. I thought was forming pseudo support actually could be pseudo resistance. So I think we have a little bit less room to run in AMD than I initially deciphered. So we're gonna have to, make some AM decisions here, but we're holding up really well. Like I said, I'm getting out at this 181.20, and we haven't even gotten near there. So I'm like, AMD's behaving well on that front. Let's see if it continues to do so. But happy with that trade right now. Also, Apple finally getting a spring in its step. And when I say spring, I mean, a 10 cent move. But for Apple, which has been more than range bound all morning, I'll take what I can get. We just got our first peak wetter out of that.
Nice.
So please just punch. Thank you very much. A pretty small position. We do a piece for the dream, which I will be setting here around, let's do like 27s, because I like to give my stocks a little wiggle room to run, because the amount of trust that I have for, in Apple is like, pretty limited. It's a slow poke, right? So I don't want to give it all the way to 170, 130, which I like because of this pre-market area. So we'll give it 170, 127. Thank you. I appreciate that. You have to keep these guys in a tight leash, AMD, how are you doing? Oh, I got some beak wetters there as well. So we still have part of this position in. We're going to get this out right now because I'm happy with this. Pleased as dang punch. Sometimes you just have to take the L's and use them to motivate yourself. And that's one thing I'm trying to learn, is because I feel like sometimes I've always been the type of person where it's like, if you feel like you can't do something, you always want to prove to yourself, like, no, you can't. Like, you got this, right? So pretty happy with that. Small victories, but sometimes the small ones are the ones that matter. They get you from point A to point B. So happy with AMD. Apple continuing to hopefully Tim Cook there. Not like Jensen Huang cooking his chip. As I didn't realize until you told me about that. And then like that image of Jensen Huang with the chip in the oven is just fantastic.
I love it. And he's so serious too. It's like he's actually cooking up like I don't know, a Thanksgiving dinner or something.
Roast?
He's got.
Yeah.
Did we show the picture before?
I'll pull it up.
Oh my
here.
goodness, it's hilarious. Yeah, he's like,
amazing.
He's proud of himself. He's got like, he looks like he just made a big kill and he just cooked it up on a grill.
Yeah,
he's all serious. His eyes are wide, and yeah, it's a good look. Jensen's the man. Jensen is the longest tenured Fortune 500. 500 CEO. Look at, and there's a reason why this guy is. I think he's made the most amount of money this year. His increase in net worth, not this year, sorry, last year. The increase in his net worth, I think, was one of the biggest. I don't know.
It's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what he this guy packed his patience at a time where people were telling him, look, man, your GPUs are just going to be for gaming, this, that, and the other. I know he tries to brag that he reinvented the computer because he doesn't have a central processing based, model anymore. It's a GPU model, but it's hard to argue with him sometimes. Anyway, the future put in a bit of a hammer candle right here, so I may be inclined to get long, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Apple at high day, by the way, 171.25. Good look for you there. Good trade, by the way. Somebody's in the money. 30 some odd pennies. Okay, on Apple, and Apple's barely had a $1 range today, so good job there.
Thank you very much. I'm pretty proud of this. Pretty pleased with this punch. I will say though, I was getting a little bit too cocky. Like, oh, I gave it a couple pennies to run. We'll get filled. No, it looks like Apple needed a couple more pennies. I gave it to. I was going to give it 121. Or 171.27. Apple ended up chilling out at 171.25, and then the hammer candle that Sharif just mentioned came in and hammered Apple back to the downside. We're gonna give it to. We're gonna wait and see here. I have no qualms about staying in this for a little bit. We're continuing to ride this 9 EMA quite nicely. I don't want to add to this position, mind you, but I don't want to leave it yet either. I have really no impetus to leave this trade yet, and I have a huge problem with leaving trades the second they go slightly awry. We're still up on the day. If we dip below the 9 EMA, if we stop seeing that as support, that would be a reason to leave and take my 10 cents of profit and go run for the hills. But you know what? C'est la vie. I'm not going to cry over a couple spilt shares there. Really happy I was able to take this trade. And like I said, my main goals right now have just been working on the fat fingering, which other than a couple iffy trades earlier today has actually been getting better. So just trying to have small goals, small victories, and continuing to try to move up here. Also, Tesla short is kind of interesting to me. Tesla, I've been interested in whatever direction it will give some opportunities. I tried a short earlier and it failed, then accidentally punched into a long, which also was not the vibe. Sometimes one of those days. But also look at this area of some support we had earlier at 180.70. If we fail this, I might take this short. So Tesla, tell me what you want me to do. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and we'll have to see if this is the type of trade I want to be in. But yeah, what are you looking at over here?
That was a lot of Spice Girls there.
That was too much.
That was a lot. Your friend MESO, somebody was crediting you in the chat for talking about MESO, and they punched in apparently when you said so, and they're up big. I forgot who that was in the chat. Maybe just tag Adara, let her know there that she's helped you out. But MESO, 75%. I was just talking about this one, 60 some odd percent. And now we're talking about almost 76. We are talking about 76. So we'll probably be talking about 77 in a second, as this one looks like it's on its way to $4. 389, some size here at the 89 penny level, but nothing really overwhelming. I'm looking down the list here to see where the big size is sitting at, and most likely it's sitting at 4. I can't see $4 quite yet, maybe when we get a little bit closer, but MESO awfully strong. The volume on it not giving up as well. We're almost at 50 million shares done on the day. Since the bell rang, this monster is up 37%, so this was not a strictly pre-market hit and quit it type thing. No, it continued to pump after that bell started ringing at 9:30, and now we're looking at $4 even here, likely to touch up any time on the day. Now, how do we get into this? Well, I like this possible 360 area, owing to the multiple attempts we had at $3.60. That is about 23 pennies off where we are right now, and that's fine with me. It doesn't have to go in a straight line. Areas of correction, the moments of correction, I should say, are absolutely healthy on a move up. So maybe we'll sit here at 361, 362, look to defend that level. It may not make it down there. So that may be a bit of a pipe dream for me to hope that it's going to come down. We'll see. Maybe the speed at which it ascended, it'll also descend with and then hold up right where I get in. So that would just be aces, trading gods, if you're listening. Right, so here comes a 70. I think we just got a 70 print here. Ooh. So we'll look to see if this one comes in to 360s. The other one, obviously got out too early. VERI continuing to pump up, broke high a day now, $6.35 HOD on VERI. Last out we had here was at the $0.25. This one ran up 10 more pennies after that. It was a great VWAP hold on VERA. It's been a decent day for small cappers today. Let's be real. Let me bring them in because the majority of them are all above the volume weighted average price, right? Very is above VWAP, CGC, MESO, ACB. I know two of those are weed names, but even if you include Reddit, Reddit's above VWAP. No, it's not a small cap gapper, but it's a big boy mover on the day. Even Donald John Trump at that 69.75, hanging out at the volume weighted average price. This one, though, was put in a whole bunch of lower high, lower high. Let's zoom in on that because this is actually an interesting breakout here, if this is accurate. So it looks as if we had a series of lower highs and that trend line held true from essentially 10:15 onward to this candle over here at 225. Now we're at VWAP, so we've broken the lower high trend. Right? We had some lower lows as well, but that was not the main trend. We started curling back up here. So it looks as if DJT could be back in play. Now let's keep an eye on the volume. We were talking about volume being that confirmatory tool to show that, traders are involving themselves in it. It's not just a move up without the support. So we break up here. Decisions have to be made. We're curling off the bottom. We broke that down trend line of lower highs. We're coming into that $70 level. We're about 10 pennies away from it at the moment. 69, high 80s, mid 80s, whatever. So we'll see exactly what we get here on DJT. But it's been a nice recovery off that 63, 62 low of day on the newly de-SPACed True Social.
De-SPACed and de-DWACed because it's no longer DWACed, it's been un-DWACed, and it's now DJT. Yesterday we were calling it DJTJ for some reason, but on the afternoon show, but DJT is the place to be. I was looking at this range earlier, I have to say. We obviously it fell off, but look at that, the little VWAP bounces here. Those are kind of spicy there. Oh, I am DJT. I love this. I really like this effect. Hi. But yeah, so we obviously that range broke below. It ended up becoming a bit of a quadunca flat bottom break.
It did.
But yeah, I mean, nice look here. Also, Kanye E saying, can you give a shout out to the morning stream for their abacus joke for me? Solid work. Yeah.
That was Brenkles' joke, actually.
That was a good one. Apparently, that's Brenkles' joke, so shouting that out. But yeah, thank you very much, Kanye East. Also have to shout out Maxie Jr. Apparently, he was the one who heard the MESO, the MESO on the small cap recap. So shout out to you. Happy you printed there.
Yes,
that's
sir.
What we're trying to do is just show some stuff that's moving and be like, hey, that's moving, you know? So that was a very odd description, but yeah, happy to help in some way. And congrats to you on your trade. Also, I am out of both my trades now. Apple I got out of because, like I said, if we couldn't hold that area where I initially took profits there, I was getting out. So we did get out. We're actually still holding the 9 EMA. It might have been a little bit hasty. If we keep bouncing, I'll get back in. But Apple seems like it's dwindling a little bit at that previous area of support. That 171.30, really struggling. So Apple not being able to break 171.30 does not instill me with a ton of confidence or even really a skosh confidence. But we'll have to see what happens there. Also, I briefly attempted a Tesla short. I liked, I'm going to show in the 1 minute because that was my impetus for getting in. I got in, then I was like, Adara, this is probably maybe going to be a long. We're riding that 9 EMA really nicely. In the end, we did end up riding the 9 EMA really nicely, and it was a long. I got out almost top wick, but I got out right when we got to that 181. So we gave it a couple, about like 30 pennies there. It didn't end up working out, but risk management, sometimes knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them, that's like the biggest part, and that's something I'm working on. It's not just staring at a stock, starstruck, being like, why can't I leave? Sometimes you have to leave when you need to leave. And so that happy I'm trying to learn and work on that right now. Nvidia curling up back above that 945. If we get into 947s, I might get interested in this name again. I know Obi was mentioning 947s. Earlier today, that was a level I was looking at yesterday as well for NVDA. So there could be some interesting opportunities there. Right now, Nvidia just trying to figure out if it wants me to be in or out Nvidia. How are you doing here?
Look at that 70 reject. So you were absolutely onto something, Adara, when you were talking about this range trade on DJJT. It held 70 to the T. I'm sitting on the other side of 70. So I'm a little, crazy in the head a little bit. We'll see if we can get something on this. But if it breaks 70 with the viciousness, as Adara likes to say, we'll take that long and we'll see. We'll see what we get out of it, but definitely big 70 rejection. Yet again on DJJT, it's been having trouble with that level essentially since breaking down below it at around 11:06. So we're going on an hour and a half now of issues. Big Kyle. Lizard people, Joker. Yeah, man, look, man. I gotta do the show, trade, do the lesson, and do the chat, and you're trolling me, and I have no idea that you're not being serious. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett, always keeping a good disposition. I'll say that about Kyle, and he's a hell of a short trader too, so that kind of helps. CGC guys at VWAP. So anybody who wanted a dip trade on some of these weed names, you might have your chance right here. It did break the volume weighted average price, but look at that closing print right back above on CGC. So interesting areas here. ACB kind of the same thing at the volume weighted average price. At that 461 area. These are all interesting areas. So let's load up CGC on a different trading screen. This is Mezzo, CGC. Let's go NQ. So we are at that 740 area. Is this a level of previous support? Yes, it is. So this is an interesting area over here, Adara. So let's see. Yeah, we can get involved here, and then we can give a stop right below that 7.25. So I'm just going to send it to you to put in my stop. Yeah, no, you got the. I don't want to say, yeah, happy trade, not best of luck. May the trade be with you. Maybe is what I will say to that. You got this. Good times with the trades. I'm trying to get involved in Nvidia. I know I was going to be a little bit more patient there, but I like this 945. Hold, this is beautiful. I would like to get involved. As Sherry sometimes says, I want all of the smoke. Not just some of the smoke, but all the smoke. And I'm taking this to 946s because this range has been super tight. And I think if you time it right, if you get the order set post haste, I think there could be a little something happening here. And to the V to the D to the A. I was just realizing too, this trade, I was trading this last Friday as well. I think this 945 to 947 area, I think there's been a lot of spice there. We did break down a little bit. We're going to give this about $1 because I like to keep my risk reward about 1 to 1, especially on an Nvidia, because you have to stay a little bit nimble. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to start setting my my profit takers here for this, the beak wetters, if you will. So we're going to be getting some out there just shy of 946s, and I think I'm going to save a piece for the dream as well for that 947 because 947 has been in our reach. It's a massive support or resistance area, sorry. So I'm going to be really careful there. We're going to be getting, if we get out some of that, it'll be just shy of those 946s, but it looks like we might be getting kicked out of the palace here at Nvidia if we break below 944. So do your thing, 21. We'll see what Nvidia does. Hopefully it can stay above 944, asking for a friend. But yeah, let's what other things are happening here? Apple trying to pop back again at that 171. Massive area of resistance earlier, becoming a massive area of support. Nice look there for AAPL. It still cannot eclipse though that 172.30. What other trades are people looking at here? I want to look at some other stuff here. Rumble says just in time. Sounds like he was just in time for a Rumble long, so congrats to you there. Do you have a trade you would like to talk about? We just took 75 pennies in a second on DJT. It broke 70 and it shot right back up. I was talking to Anuview in the chat that we were both talking about this 70 break on it, and I had my order right on the other side. Didn't get filled initially. There was an area of illiquidity on DJT, and yeah, so we got filled on the second dip trade coming in. I should have probably had a bit of a better plan set up for that and had beak wetters lined up because the flat and key just doesn't cut it. You don't get the best price to market order and you don't have anything structured. Now it's continuing to go without me. So happy about this trade, but not the best execution from the profit taking perspective. That's on me though. We'll look at something different here. Now that DJT's reclaimed VWAP, can it hold above this level? Where did I get exactly actually on DJT? What was my price that I got filled on? I want to know exactly what I got. Oh, nice. I got 70.05, so that's decent. And as I talk about that, here comes 71.50. Here comes 72 on DJT. So the strength coming right back in, Adara. 43% now to the good. Good look there. Let's see what we're doing with CGC. 1 pen, well, break even on it at the moment. Trying to hold the volume weighted average price. That's the trade here on CGC and nothing different. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, I mean, honestly, you were tickled pink, bless you, and congrats to you. Like, that's an awesome trade. Taking the moments, and you saw DJT and you took it for a ride there. So nice job there, raising the roof. Also, Nvidia kind of curling a little bit here, which I don't love, given that I'm in the long. We had a nice range here. Now Nvidia's like, oh, maybe not. We're still holding up above 944 though, so I have no reason to leave. And honestly, as someone whose patience levels leave a lot to be desired, it's always a little bit stressful when I have no reason to leave a trade, but it's also not doing anything I want it to, right? So I just have to stay and wait and pack my patience, as Sharif says, in my Samsonite, see what happens here. But you know what, Nvidia, if you want to make up your mind, I'd be pleased to punch, just so I know if I should stay or should I go now. Shout out to the clash, and buyers and sellers clashing a little bit here on NVDA. Also, shout out to Desi in the chat. I called it 940 buy on Nvidia 30 minutes ago in the chat. Just took that $5 move, done for the day. Shout out to you, congrats. That's an awesome trade. And look at that little baby double bottom here in the 1 minute chart, that topping or that bottoming tail candle. Fantastic look, and congrats to you. Yeah, sorry we weren't able to see that earlier. It's a little hard. There's always a lot going on in the chat, but I mean, much respect to you. That's an awesome move, and happy you were able to take advantage of that opportunity that you spotted there. Looks like I might have been squandering here this opportunity with Nvidia 944. So let's see what happens here.
Can you just read that out? I think it'd be funnier if you read it out. Read the caption,
I'm going to try to read it with a straight face. I love.
Hold on, I'll read the context.
Oh, so this is a photo of one DJT standing in front of what looks like a Mar-a-Lago. Oh, he did tag it. It's Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Beautiful little house. He's on his phone, and it's a very zoomed out photo here as well. And the caption says, "I love Truth Social. I love the truth!" Exclamation point.
Bro, he's so violent. He's such a joker, bro.
That's what you have to say, though, now after that trade. You're saying, I love Truth Social.
Yeah,
I love the truth.
I don't know about all that, Derek,
I'm
because
joking.
we don't know if it's going to be a good investment or not, right? We got to compete with Meta, Snapchat, a whole bunch of others. But it's just funny how, you know, he posts stuff like that. It always gives me a little bit of a chuckle. So shout out to him. I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way.
No, I enjoyed that. Thank you for letting me read that, because you're trying to put up my spin on it. Nvidia decided to NVDie. I couldn't think of a good way to say that. But we did drop a little bit here. The spread is getting spready. So Nvidia, please let me leave. Asking you for a friend. That's okay. You know what? Like I said, I'm really trying to take advantage of these losing opportunities to kind of turn them into W's. Obviously not this one. If I could just leave, that would be great. Thank you, Nvidia. Please. At this point, I'm literally bagging with the stock. That's where we're at in the day. Good times. But also, I mean, honestly, the thing is too, before I go live as well, I really want to sort out my stop losses, because I've mentioned this. My stop losses are very temperamental, and they often just like to kind of keep me in the stock for whatever reason. So something to work on, things to work on before we put money in the line, because I'm a very conscientious person. I'm a very risk-averse person in life, and especially in trading. Even with the sim, I always try to keep things appropriate. So hopefully when we're out of this, thank gosh here, NVDA out. But also I was going to look at Rumble for just in time. So let's see what's rumbling in Rumble. This is interesting. So we had this nice move up. Sorry, I'm a little bit late to this. So I think definitely the move up here was earlier. Then we kind of paused a little bit stagnant at 870, drop below the 90 EMA, which is earlier to area of support. Now we talk about this sometimes. Sometimes areas of support can flip to resistance. So we'll have to see here if we continue ducking under this 90 EMA, what kind of opportunities we'll have. But yeah, it looks like we might have given up the ghost just a little bit on Rumble. From what I'm seeing, Rumble looks like potentially a sympathy play with DJT, formerly known as DWAC. And also, Rumble has earnings tomorrow night. So you can catch those. Actually, I don't know when they're filming the podcast, so I'm not going to say if you can catch it on the market recap tomorrow, because I'm unsure. But I mean, on the 3 minute, actually, because that was the 1 minute, we're below the 90 EMA. On the 3 minute, we're actually above the 90 EMA. So Rumble, I would say wait for a couple of candles here. We did have that 20 penny drop, but congrats to anybody taking this long earlier, because this was, look at these little baby bounces at VWAP. Then we charge up to the upside. Up to the upside. The redundancy of what I just said there. Good times. But I mean, what a move up here. And as Obi might say, oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh, no, he's not there. It's Randy right now. I hear them talking about cars. I mean, well, Katina Man. Were you looking for alternatives to the Rivian there, or what were you asking Randy about?
We were talking about Ford, the price of Ford.
The Katina Man and Randy were talking about the price of Ford, and overpriced, I'm assuming, a little bit? Overpriced? The stock price. $13. Gotcha. All right. Say it again, Randy? Heavy truck sales are doing well. That's their best seller, though. It's their bread and butter, Randy says. Yeah, that's kind of what we know Ford for, the F-150, the Super Duty 250, F-350, 450, that whole line. Yeah. We don't have too many dualies around here. That's a very Texas thing. Do we really? I don't see too many of them. Your friend just bought one? Okay, so I'm assuming it's more out of Toronto kind of thing. Yeah. Because I see a lot of the dualies in the States. I mean, every time I go in the States, some people don't even know what a dually is, I'm assuming. People are asking about it. Do you have a dually? The Chilean Nightmare has a friend named Dooley. That's absolutely relevant. Yeah. Guys, I tried to take a trade on CGC. This one didn't work out. Let's talk about it. This is the whole idea here was a trade that was above the volume weighted average price all day. I got in right at VWAP. It didn't hold up. So my line in the sand was going to be the break of this candle low. So this was a low, and then the closing print was right above VWAP. So I said, okay, the bulls push this one back up above the volume weighted average price. This could curl. So then what I said was, okay, you're going to get in at 42. Fine. Your stop has to be the break of the $0.25 because that's a low. You don't want a new low below the volume weighted average price. And that's where I got out. I got out right at 24s. So we take about an 18 penny loser there on CGC, trying to hold at that $7 level. There is this area of consolidation. It kind of looks like a bull pennant almost with that big move up. And then you have, sequentially lower highs and higher lows as well. And then you get that break continuing up. We talked a little bit about that earlier when we talk about continuation patterns, right? You're looking for that continuation through the bull flag. Anyway, so there is a possibility, I think, that we do hold up above this 7 owing to this area over here. Now, I'm not going to catch this. Again, it'll have to prove to me that it can hold that 7. If it ends up meaning I miss the trade, then I miss the trade, but I'm not going to punch in willy-nilly when it hasn't proved its desire to hold up above $7. So CGC, still playable in my book, just has to get above the volume weighted average price. The other one that's continuing to be, kind of the same look here, and they're almost very similar in terms of where they are in the chart relative to the indicators, is ACB. So both up, both weed names. This one's a little bit below the volume weighted average price in CGC is. Right now it's printing at about 457. VWAP is at 459, thereabouts. So it's on the south side of the volume weighted average price. That's no good for our technique. We'll have to wait until that pops back up. But Mezzo, this is the trade that I keep looking at and I keep not taking it. It continues to hold up above the 10 EMA. Now, if you took that 4 break, you likely were disappointed a bit because it only went to 402, right? And that's what we say. Remember that whole idea of taking the breakout trade? There's 2 methodologies that you can employ. One is to take the break immediately, and the other one is to wait for it to come back to defend. Well, this is one of those cases where it would make sense, or where the wait to come back and defend theory looks quite good. Because, well, if you got long 4-1, you're 20 pennies out of the money on a $3 name. So we'll see. We'll see whether this one continues to hold up, number 1, above the 10 EMA. Number 2, can it break and hold above that $4? It may have a second opportunity here. I'm talking about MESO. Can't find the short float on this on Trade Ideas, but what I can tell you is that it's a $434 million market cap, and the float is quite large. For a stock of this type, it's 287 million share float, so larger and definitely takes a little bit more to move it than would be the case if the float was a lot smaller. So keeping eyes on the following: DJT at that 72.5 level, flat topping right now, but tradable because it's above VWAP. Keeping eyes on CGC. Okay, so that 7 held. So I should have done less talking, more punching. So 7 holds for the moment on CGC, and I could have made my money back on that one, but that's all good. Let's see what it does if it can get above the volume weighted average price again. Maybe we'll look to trade it. Keep eyes on VERI. Had a great trade on this one. Finished off at the $0.25. Now it's right back in, giving you another possible dip trade here at the 10 EMA. In case you're just new to the show, the 10 EMA is the green solid line on my charts. The 20 is the yellow. The 50 is the red, and the 200 is the dark blue over here, the one that I'm circling on, all right? And so I'll always have these moving averages irrespective of what chart I have on. However, I don't use typically the 10 and the 20 for large cappers. I typically use the 50 and the 200 and VWAP. The 10 and the 20 kind of usually reserved for these small cap gappers for pullback trades. That's just a little tidbit there. Keeping eyes on some of these, all right? So we went over them. Let's flip back now to the mega cappers. Okay, Softy. Right back into that level where we had that trade earlier in the day. We took that 423 long on Softy. It's right back at that closing print from yesterday. And in case you're wondering what yesterday's closing print is, just south of 423 in the high 422s, 422.80, 81, 82, something like that. We're getting multiple touches of support. The institutional print at 8 touches that. The IB low there at, well, not IB low, well, it is actually the IB low, 955. It comes into that level as well. That's where we got long. And again, over here, we're coming right back into that area on Softy. Softy's a bit dead money today, but we'll see if this area here on Microsoft can come in again as a level of support. We'll keep watching that. Meta, wow, that would have been a $4 banger off that 510 short. Yeah, man, you had that short. I didn't take it. You took it.
I scalped it, but yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, you had it, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, but I had it because you pointed it out too. So shout out to you.
All good. Yeah, you still have to put on the trade, and so I don't get any credit for that. But thank you for pointing that out, Adair. Anyway, this one on the way down below VWAP, below all these levels. The only thing really keeping me interested in a possible trade here is this 504.5 3/4. That's pivot points, and we consolidated above that level all pre-market. So I want to see if we can actually stay above that level on Meta. What else we got over here? Not a whole lot, eh? Kind of dead money on a lot of stuff today. We'll see. We'll see. We're near lows, though, on the future.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that. We got down into that low that we put in there at 10:30. We're almost right back there. So 18.530s, 18.5 and a third coming into play again here, Adara.
Yeah, lots of weakness. I think Apple has a lot of company in terms of the dead one. I'll put it that way. Lots of the dead one friends. Also, I really like this comment here from Comp SRX tagging me saying, I think this comment will help a lot of viewers. What level does Tesla have to close at to remain along? Thanks. Yeah, thank you for asking. I'm going to try here. Actually, I got also into a trade just mesmerized by the tape while I was looking at this. My thing is, too, is I think, honestly, closing and staying above this 180, I think could be key. And I say that because if you look at kind of what we've been doing on Tesla, there's a lot of previous areas of support here flipping to resistance. So it wasn't perfect. We had this like 205 kind of 200 area. This was a little bit of, this is like basically the October low, right? Then we come back and we have this issue getting above that 205. And shout out to Sharif, because Sharif was talking about this a lot when we were struggling with that 205 close on Tesla. I know Sean mentioned it as well. This 205 issue with Tesla in mid-February. Then we fail 205. We drop with the viciousness to around 160s here for TSLA, and then we pop back up. So I think we really first have to break that trend of lower highs, lower lows, and I think part of that starts with a move above 180, because that was previous support. I think if we can get back there, establish, hey, Tesla, I don't see any resistance here at 180, I think that would be a nice look for Tesla to start. We had a lot of strength today, right? So I think it would probably clinch a longer story if we stayed above that 180. Then I think, a decided closing print decisively above that 205 would also be a nice look, because that was a massive area of resistance earlier, right? So I think really just kind of taking each of these key areas of resistance, closing above them and staying above them, I think would be my key area. Also that 265 area, I know Obi mentioned this area in the past. This is an area I've always kind of looked at with Tesla. We had that 205 area with Tesla that we dropped below there slightly before earnings, continuous descent. We pop back up, bless you, after the November to remember, and we come back in December and we just can't hold this level, right? So Tesla, 265, 205, 180 to me are the clearest levels with Tesla that are always kind of like screaming, look at me. So I think if we can keep looking at those levels, that would be pretty interesting. I hope that helps Comp SRX. And thank you for putting that out there, basically saying like, of course this isn't advice, this is just my take on the chart. But I think Tesla, that 180 close, a decisive holding of 180 being like, hey, I'm here. Maybe not that aggressively. But I think that's what Tesla kind of needs to do to prove to buyers that there's still some kind of fertility in this long. I don't like that I use that word. But
Randy's
I don't know.
questioning your use of that
I'm also
word.
questioning my use of that word, but that's okay, right? I also got out of the Tesla long. I was trying to take it 180.25 to 180.70. It was a nice area earlier. We broke below, got out. All good in the hood. But yeah, I think that 180 decisive close would be a nice look for longs.
Oh, people saying we have a bond auction. I got to get more efficient with this.
5-year note.
Is it the 5-year?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll keep eyes on that 5-year note auction. Thank you very much to, who's that in the chat? Heather Tuttle and Adara for letting me know. Yeah, we got the 5-year note coming up at 1 o'clock. Surprise, surprise. Did we have anything prior to this? We had a whole bunch of numbers, but they were all covered by Adara or Brendo already. So nothing really to reiterate here. We typically get the result of the bond auction a few minutes after it's already printed. So, I'm going to hold off on any trades until we get that bond print. That could work to my advantage. It could work against me because if I'm in a long, for example, and it's positive, it could shoot up on that number. So we'll pack our patience. We'll see exactly what we get on that bond number, though. I think what do we have? Did we have one yesterday? We didn't have
the 2-year yesterday.
2-year, that's right. Yeah,
Gave a little bit of a pop, I think.
Yeah, I feel like it was like more of a nothing burger. The 2-year is the one that's really been elevated, and that is the one that everyone talks about, having been inverted with the 10 and the 30. It remains that way, even though the 10 and the 2 and the 30 are getting a lot closer right now. But the 10 and the 2 is the one that everyone talks about. It's supposed to be a recession predictor, and we're still waiting for that recession. It's been inverted for I think a few years now. Or a couple of years, or going on a couple of years, something like that. All right, Apple dipped in aggressively here. Not sure what the hell happened here with AAPL, but this is an interesting little range on this candle. 171.20 to the high side, 170.67 to the low side. Dips off VWAP, holds VWAP. That might have something to do with the auction, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, guys, Apple is the only Mag 7 name aside from Google. Well, no. Okay, so I take that back. Amazon, Google, and Apple are all putting in higher lows. So you can see that here. AMZN, higher low, higher low, higher low. Apple, the same thing. And Google, obviously, putting in the higher lows as it's well up on the day, 0.95%. Everything else, Tesla included, lower highs and lower lows. I'm talking about you, Nvidia. I'm talking about you, Tesla. Definitely Softy and Meta. On the day, they're all printing lower highs, lower lows right now, coming into key levels. 505 is the low of day on Meta, and we're about 62 pennies away from that at the moment as we're printing 505 high 50s. So we'll see exactly what we get with some of these names. Let's flip some of these small cap gappers. All right, so we haven't reclaimed volume weighted average price yet on CGC, so definitely not tradable in my book for the long. DJT, why do I keep saying DJJT? But DJT on the way up, bro. Look at this move. Wrong one. Here it is. Look at this move through that 71.5. It consolidated there for a little bit, and then the viciousness came, and here comes 74. We have a bit of a top earlier at around 1020, 1015. Of a rejection at the 74.20, 74-ish level. So eyes on this level because we've rejected here before. But yeah, great recovery by DJT. Already $10 off that bottom at 64 that we printed at around 5 minutes to noon. We've recovered all that. Looking for more. Obviously, HOD on DJT 79.38. You have a bit of a double top in that 79 area, but all eyes will be at 80. If we make it back up there, guys. What a strong name this has been. Yesterday, de-SPACing. Today, trading under DJT, not DWAC anymore. In case you're wondering what this DJT thing is that came out of nowhere, it is the now live full version, if you want to call it that, of the DWAC stock after there was a lot of litigation about the partnership between True Social and Digital World's acquisition. That's why it took so long to de-SPAC. SPACs don't typically take that long to de-SPAC and to merge. So we'll wait and see what this one does. 74 right now coming in as a top, and we're breaking down below 73.5. So some price action interest, I guess, at that level. We'll keep eyes on this one, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, lots of eyes on also the other big, I don't want to say meme stock, but big mover of the day, and I'm going to call that Reddit. A couple people here really wanting to look at Reddit, and I see why. This is a really nice look here. Look at this pseudo flat top around 70. I don't want to call it a flat top break because the top hasn't been consistently flat, right? We had this move up. We had this massive move down here, made a slightly lower low actually as well compared to that 930 print. And then we start to kind of climb to the upside, right? Then we test 70, we fail it. We test again, then we blast to the upside using that VWAP area as support. This is a really nice trampoline style breakout for Reddit, which is great because we're actually getting into breakouts. In a second, we're going to get back to the lesson of the day.
Right.
I'm trying to get involved in Reddit at 70, actually, because I like, that's a little bit of support at the 70 area. We broke above, we could have some support. The amount of confidence I feel in this is but I also think, if you like a setup, you kind of owe it to yourself to try taking it, right? We're going to give it about 50 pennies. So I'm going to give it to 69.50 because that was a little chop and turn area. I have been watching the book on this one for a little bit. But yeah, I think in terms of profit taking, that's where it is a little bit more, I think, arbitrary, which always makes me nervous. I like ranges, so I like clear level set in stone, being like, hey, or dare, get involved here. I don't know why I use that aggressive pointer finger, but Reddit doesn't really have those, right? Other than if you want to take 71s, again, not advice. I think for myself, I'm kind of interested in 71s because that was that earlier area. That was the Acme earlier in that last like 3 minute pump, 3 minute candle pump to the upside. So we'll have to see what we do. I think, we haven't broken 75 yet. That was the big, I know Obi earlier was talking about trying to get that one into 75. Shout out to both Obi and Sean killing this name, trading this name here on the morning show. You're going to see them again in about 55 minutes. But I see Sharif has entered a trade. Do you want to talk about this one before? Okay, sweet. So Sharif is in the NQ. He is in the futures. And right now our future will be talking about breakout patterns for one last time. STX? Give me a second here. STX. Ooh. Oh, that's a nice VWAP bounce. I got really aggressive there. This is nice. We bounce off this VWAP here, kind of curl. See a bit of a flat top here at 97, then come back here to 97, 60s. Then we kind of have this bounce off VWAP, kind of curling off the 90 EMA, bit of a 90 EMA rejection here. What is STX? Seagate Technology Holdings. Morgan Stanley upgrading this one this morning, raising the price target to 115. So go Seagate, nice little look there. But yeah, thank you for pointing that one out, Randy. Shout out to Randy and Sean, killing it over there. Let's take a look right now though at our breakouts. So let's talk about chart pattern breakouts. The world of technical analysis has so many lovely, intricate little patterns, and some of the most valuable are going to be chart pattern breakouts. These patterns act like road signs that are going to hint at potential price moves. So let's delve into this exciting world and learn how to identify trade breakouts based on chart patterns. So here's some of the basics, right? You have your triangles, flags, pennants, and head and shoulders, and cups and handles as just some of the many patterns you can have. Just imagine price movements forming recognizable shapes on a chart, and then keep in mind the idea as well that each pattern suggests a potential trading scenario after the breakout occurs. And here we have some examples. So here is a bit of a triangle breakdown to the downside. We have this continued move down. We have a little bit of consolidation, and then we continue to swoop to the downside. The downside. Down. Yeah, I can't say it. We also have the cup and handle here. This one's bullish. We have this kind of rounded movement here, as Michael Noss says, by the smiley face. Then we have this handle showing a little bit more selling at this previous area of resistance, and then we swoop to the upside. Bullish flag as well. You have this kind of move up, then you peter around a little bit and continue up, and the bullish pennant, kind of similar. Massive flag movement up. Then we have this chop and churn, and then we fly up, and it usually with about the same amount of viciousness that we had the initial move up, right? So using the flag pull to chart your movement out. So we do go over these in details in other how to trade videos, but this is just kind of a quick primer. The breakout breakdown. So let's break down these breakouts. Breakouts happen when the price decisively moves through the boundaries of a chart pattern, which can signal a potential change in the prevailing trend. So here are some of the breakdowns for bullish and bearish breakouts. A bullish breakout is going to happen when the price closes above the upper trend line of a pattern, like a triangle or a pennant, which suggests that buyers are overpowering sellers, potentially leading to a price increase. Bullish breakouts occur Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong one there. Bearish breakouts occur when the price closes below the lower trend line of a pattern, like a head and shoulders, for example, which indicates that sellers are gaining control and there might be a potential price decrease. So here are some examples. Here's a bullish breakout. We had this kind of continued movement upwards, sideways, chop and churn. Then we have this massive push to the upside out of this pattern. So this is a continuation pattern. One reversal pattern to the downside is the head and shoulders. So we have this move up here. We have this shoulder, and the right and left shoulder aren't always going to be exact. Then we kind of bounce off this neckline area, this area of support, push up and make a higher high, then come down and make another high, basically around where that earlier high was. So they're almost parallel to each other. Almost you have that symmetry. Then you break below that neckline, and it's a bit of a bearish reversal trade. So nice look there as well. But not all breakouts are going to be created equally. It's really important to keep an eye on these signals. Look for false breakouts, which can occur when the price flirts with a pattern boundary, says, hey, buy me a drink, and then reverses direction. So here's how to be a savvy trader. You want to look for confirmation. You want to make sure that you have that additional confirmation signals like a surge in trading volume alongside the breakout, because a high volume will suggest more conviction behind the price move. Candle power is also really important to watch. You want to make sure that you have your daily or weekly candle closing clearly above the upper trend line, bullish, or below the lower trend line in a bearish situation for added confidence and for a little bit of confluence as well. So here's one example, and I like this one, literally has it all labeled. You have your big breakout candle here, and you don't have a lot of selling on the breakout candles. You can see here pretty much, this is all pretty self-contained. There's not a lot of wicks to the downside, and you have a nice strong volume candle to propel this movement to the upside after a little bit of selling. So I really like this example, and it shows the kind of breakout that you're looking for and the kind of oomph that you need here. How to take action with breakouts. You want to make sure that you're entering the trade carefully. Some traders are going to be entering immediately after the breakout, but others are going to wait for a pullback where the price will briefly revisit the broken trend line before continuing its move. This can offer a lower entry point, but comes at the risk of missing the opportunity. So it's going to be dependent on what your risk reward is like, what your risk parameters are like, and what type of trader you are. Stop loss, also really important to note. You want to keep it below the trend line in a bullish scenario or above the trend line in a bearish scenario to mitigate and lessen your losses. Taking profits wisely is also something to note, because profit taking is crucial, so you want to look for potential resistance levels above in bullish breakouts or below support levels, or support levels below, sorry, in bearish breakouts to clinch in some gains. Remember though, chart patterns are a probabilistic tool and not a crystal ball, so conduct thorough research, look for confluence, manage risk wisely, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. And one bonus tip is you can combine chart patterns with other technical indicators like moving averages or RSI for a more robust trading strategy.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Keeping eyes on some of these names. We have DWAC retracing a little bit there off that pop that it put in earlier into about almost 74. So we'll keep tabs on that. It's above the volume weighted average price, but coming into that 74 level that we talked about, that was likely going to be a bit of a top owing to this consolidation area that we had earlier. Also, Reddit on the way back up above $71 now. So starting to squeeze here is Reddit after multiple higher lows off that 63 bottom, 71.30, looking to go about $71.50. So that one looking awfully good right now is Reddit. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, we'll get maybe a 71 defend here if we can. I'll sit at 71.05. We'll see if we can get that dip trade. Maybe it'll come back into our level. Say that again, Katina Man. The Katina Man is long Reddit, baby. He's long at 71s. So the Katina Man likes this curl up here through that $70 area. You know, being the compulsive dip trader, that I'll have to wait for 71.05. Otherwise, I'll just let this trade go and it'll go without me and it'll suck. So it looks like it's going right now anyway. Let's see what some of the Mag 7 names are doing. So Apple looks awfully strong on the day, guys. I mean, this was supposed to tank. We saw what happened there in the pre-market when that headline about the China sales that I can't seem to find anywhere came out and precipitated this huge down move. It looks like we've been bought right back up to where we were trading in the pre. In fact, we're green on the day because we closed out yesterday 170.83. So trading above that right now. High day 171.42 on AAPL. So we'll have to keep eyes on that as it continues to you know, I tried to take Apple short multiple times today, and it did not work out that well for me. All right, back to Reddit over here as it is coming back into 71. I'm seeing 10s right now show up on the book, so we'll have to dip into about 5s if I'm going to get filled. But this one, really, I'm going to have to give it to 70. So even if I'm going to have to give this $1. And the reason being, look at the support area, it's at 70. And so if I get filled, I'm not saying I'm going to get filled, but if I get filled, this will have to be $1 worth of room. The market doesn't care where I place my stop. So the fact that I place it above the $0.50, for example, is not going to really matter. The key area of support is at 70 bucks owing to this crest that we have over here. Yeah, so we'll see. It doesn't look like I'm getting filled right now, though. It came into 10s. It didn't go into 5s. So we'll see what we get here with Reddit. Up 19.25%. Nothing to sneeze at there. So we'll see. What else are people talking about in the chat? James Dell, ARM falling off. Haven't looked at ARM on the day. Wow, 4% to the negative. That's not a good look there for ARM at all. It looks like a programmed sell on ARM on the day. It's just uninterrupted down and to the right. Let's pull up ARM here. Shout out to James Dell for eyes on that. Wow, when you look at the 15-minute, it looks like an elevator, definitely not an escalator. So we give back all of yesterday's price action, and ARM was awfully strong yesterday, opening up at a $134, going almost into that 144 area. So $10 worth of range, but that's well overshadowed. Okay, so I'm long Reddit now. I have to concentrate. All right, so now we're long 71.05. So let's see what we get here. Whether we defend 71, an entirely different story. I'll be looking to wet my beak initially at the $0.33, put my out there to see if we can get printed, de-risk a little bit, showing 26s at the moment. So we'll see what we get. I'm going to have to give this one to 70, which is not my style of trade at all. And there it goes. So we're going to have to give this one to 70, see if it reclaims. Daryl.
Yeah, I mean, best of luck there with that Reddit trade. I was trying to get involved in that one at 70s and I could not get filled. Yeah. I kept doing the lesson like, oh, maybe I'll see Reddit show up on my position board. And it never did. But yeah, may the trade be with you on that one. We're trying to find a way to say best of luck in trading that doesn't sound weird. But also I was trying to get involved in Nvidia and Nvidia was like, no, thank you. So that's okay. I wanted to take that long off that 943, but we had this massive pop up here for N to the V to the D to the A. So I was not invited into the club. They did not want me in Nvidia. So we're going to stay out of that for now. AMD doing something kind of interesting that I really haven't read on yet. Also, I was involved in the same way more than I thought I was. But I like this kind of top and turn that we have around VWAP. I have my 1 minute chart up right now because I found that to be more helpful when I'm doing like these super scalping moves. But we're still below the 9 EMA, but we're holding VWAP pretty well. So I want to wait and see kind of if we have a flip here. Nvidia, we just had the 9 EMA flip from resistance to support. So if we kind of see that type of flip in AMD, I'd be interested. This topping tail candle on the 1 minute for Nvidia is indeed spicy. So I want to wait and see, but if we continue to hold this 943, I've liked that level. We've danced around that level in NVDA. So if we hold it up, don't mind if I do. I wouldn't be pleased as punch because it's Nvidia. I would be cautiously optimistic about taking a trade there because sometimes you got to switch it up. What else are people looking at here in the chat? Tom H saying Tesla down, and indeed Tesla is down. Every time I try to get into short in this, which is pretty funny, Tesla decides it's going up, and then we fall to the downside. So nice move down here for TSLA. Anybody short this name, congrats to you. This was an interesting little area earlier. And I don't know why I tried to go long this area. That was a bit of a mistake on my part because look at this. This was earlier support. We come back, we find resistance like 3 times here. It does not want to move its head above that 180.70 area. Sorry, this is where I got out of the short. Never mind, this is where I got out of the short. So there we go. This 180.70 area, we do not want to move above. I guess almost 181. Then we continue to go below. This is like a bit of like a double bottom or double top there. Apparently I need more coffee on this Tesla chart. We were initially up like 6% in the day. Now we're up about 3.8%. So still not a bad look for Tesla, but still, you know, if Tesla, like I said, I think Tesla wants all the smoke above 180, and Tesla is struggling with that 180 level. So we'll have to see what it wants to do there. But it looks like we're having a little bit of a sell-off in a lot of these Meg 7 names. And when I say sell-off, I mean just at least in this candle in this minute. Sean just made a very happy sound, so I'm guessing he might be short something. Are you short anything, Sean?
Market at Amazon, but I'm still long Reddit 71.
Yeah, and you and I both, bro. And I added at the $0.25. The Katina Man is long, Reddit 71. So I added at the $0.25 there. My line in the sand is going to be the break of 70. It's going to have to hold up above 70. That is the area of resistance that we ID'd initially. So if that doesn't flip to support, I already have my out, and it looks like it's going to break right now as it comes back into that 70 area. I can't DCA into this, otherwise I get in trouble. So this one breaks below that 70 area. It's right now it's showing 12s. We'll see if we get that break, Adara.
Yeah, I mean, like this Reddit is really spicy. It's a trade that basically everyone has been involved with except for me. I think on the floor, because I know Obi and Sean and Sharif all dancing in that one. But also, Compass RX, this is thank you so much for this little chat here. If this is not the best trading community on earth, I don't know what is.
Bang.
Learn from these fine traders,
nice,
guys. You will be profitable. Shout out to Sean, Neil, Sharif, Adara, and of course the #1 Bears versus Bulls. Thank you very much for putting that out there. I mean, shout out to our community. Shout out to everybody at home in the chat. Shout out to everyone in the back there. Obi, Randy, Fabian and Ramin and Brendan. As always, I sound like I am delivering an Oscar speech, but really just grateful to this community and really appreciate what you had to say there, Compass RX. And also, Meta seemed to like what you had to say too, because Meta got a little bit of a bounce.
Right,
we're going to be buying into, I don't know why I said it like all scandalous like that, but I like this Meta area. And look at this pseudo double bottom, and it's also coming into that previous area of support that we had on Meta in the pre. If we break below like 505.20s, I'm going to be out. We're going to give this about 40 pennies, but I want this long. I want all the smoke. Right now I might want not though, because we're falling a little bit here, but I want to take this into about 506.60s is I think going to be the first kind of profit taker area where I had this earlier area of support. I like when support and resistance flip, and I like to use them as my profit takers, beak wetters, what have you. So we're basically gonna try to see what we can do here. We're gonna probably get everything out actually at that 506.60 area. We're gonna aim for about $1. Doesn't look like we're gonna get it. Meta falling with the viciousness, but if we can hold up here around that 505.20, I'd be pleased as punch, and I will stay in the trade. It looks like we want to do that for the time being. Also, I was talking about AMD coiling back up at VWAP, and AM did. Now, though, I want to see what we do at 180.20s because this was a little bit of that chop and churn earlier. We're still below the 9 EMA. I want to see AMD take that 9 EMA with this kind of viciousness. Tammy KB asking about any bad news on ARM. I hadn't seen any earlier. I'm still not seeing any Tammy KB, but of course, if we do see any news, we will let you know post haste. Not seeing any news on this one right now, though. But let me see as well if there's any other stocks anyone's looking at, let us know. Lots of people interested in this Reddit still as well. And I want to say the convo on that for Sharif and Sean because they're both involved in this game. At this point, I am just, a bystander. But also one name I'm kind of upset I didn't look at earlier. VTKX. This is Viking. Oh, VKTX, Adara. This is Viking Therapeutics. This is a weight loss related name. And we know for whatever reason, I like trading these GLP-1s and these weight loss related drugs. Obi was talking about this one earlier, and this range off this VWAP is so nice. I'm kicking myself for not getting this one up. So buy AMD. This one is going on my side chart. I like that we have this range. If we go back to VWAP and test this, I'm going to get into the long, although it looks like the range might have just passed me by here. Looks like we're kind of trying to stay above this 9 EMA here right now. So a little bit unfortunate. We did miss that trade, but if it comes back, it'll be on our side chart and we will be apprised and we will get involved. So VKTX, my main look right now. Meta hanging out around my point of entry, shockingly, because I feel like Meta usually likes to be a little bit more decisive the second you get involved. But the fact that Meta's holding up right now around the pseudo double bottom area instills me with a skosh confidence. Not a lot of confidence, but a skosh confidence.
I like it.
And I appreciate that. And we did have that bounce there off that 505.20 area I was watching. I like the trampoline effect of that level. So I have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of confluence. And by that, I mean the double bottom here and this little support, even though we are in a bit of a downtrend, I don't have a problem staying in this for the time being in M to the E to the T to the A.
I actually like that entry on Meta, to be quite honest with you, because we were talking about this consolidation area low in the pre being right at that level, and that's where exactly you got in, this 505, like say in a quarter, in a third general area, that was the top there, again, in the pre-market on lesser volume, but keep in mind, that there are algos that are running in the pre, but obviously doing a little bit less volume there. So we'll keep eyes on META, trying to hold up above 505. Out of my what's it called? Reddit trade, as this one broke aggressively below that 70 area, but it is right at VWAP again. So it looks like I'm cruising for a bruising over here because I want to get long. Shout out to Jay Lee. He's printing on that short on RDDT. Good for him. I'm going to have to wait to see whether this one holds up at VWAP or thereabouts. It's right now printing 68.39s. We got right as it broke down below 70. We were able to get out of dodge. It's held the volume weighted average price on every attempt essentially since after 11:55. So basically from noon onwards, it's been holding these VWAP dips. So maybe let's not wait at VWAP, and then in case we get triggered and it breaks a little bit below VWAP only to rise again, I'd rather give up a little bit of profit and get the confirmation that did hold above VWAP than use the VWAP as my line in the sand for a stop. So right now, a lot of red candles or aggressive red candles coming in here on Reddit, and you're seeing that also on DJT as we're coming off that 74 area now, breaking down into 71. Yeah, Reddit is coming down here, guys. Here comes 67, and we're at the $0.50 right now on RDDT. It's 12, almost 13% to the good. Yeah, I didn't expect this. I figured, we'd at least hold up at the volume weighted average price at 68 even, because we had a bit of a trough there at 68 at around 12.30, 12.25. But this is definitely on the way down here, and the volume really picking up for the shorts. Here comes 67. You're not going to see me punching in at these areas, but yeah, tough look. We took the shot, we missed it. That's the way trading goes. What's the next trade, as the Canob always likes to say. Shout out to Jay Lee. I see him, baby. I see you. Important note on Reddit, VWAP of 65 is fiction. Remember, most people bought it for 34. Don't forget. Yeah, you could use anchored VWAP. Shout out to Brian Shannon and his little technique over there, always on the Katina Man show on the close. So we'll keep eyes on Reddit here. A bit of a top bottoming tail candle coming in. We'll have to see if it can close above the volume weighted average price. I know Jay's talking. He's talking about where the majority of the prints initially took place, but the fact of the matter is, we're all looking at the same VWAP if all our charts start at the same time. Mine start from 4 a.m. and some others start from whatever, 7 or wherever they start from. So we'll keep eyes here as it makes a bit of a recovery. Talking about RDDT. Let's keep eyes also on these Mag 7 names. Tesla really giving it back, guys. I mean, Tesla was awfully strong on the day, and I feel like we're going to get into that 178 area, 178.5, which was the top end of the range in the pre-market. That is before we pumped up there at 930. So Tesla, we're getting right into that level again, giving up really the whole move here off that 184.25 top. We're well below that now. About to break down below 175. What else is going on over here? Softy's doing nothing. Google, yeah, okay. Kind of dancing mid-range. Amazon, higher lows, lower highs though. So a bit of a compression pattern happening there. 505 still holding on Meta, so good trade for you there, Dara. We haven't talked too much about Nvidia. Nvidia now getting a bit of a bounce here, breaking through 945. It's still putting in lower highs though, so you need to keep eyes on that to make sure that we're breaking the trend here. 946 or 946.5 is what I'd be looking at for a possible higher high. But anybody dip buying off 940's been rewarded, maybe except for this person over here bought at 1225 because it dipped into 938.81. So you would have had to have like a $1.20 stop on Nvidia, which is not unusual, right? So we'll keep eyes on those names. The future at the 50-point level, not a whole lot happening there.
Wait, did you get back into Reddit? Because I just noticed the position
board.
No,
the position board is wrong.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure in case.
I don't know why it's wrong.
No, I just
was
wanted
panicking there for a second. I was like, kept hitting my flatten key. I'm like, why isn't it punching me out? But it was wrong. So if the production team wants to reset it.
No, I just wanted to make sure because I was like, oh no.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, no, I was like, because I knew you were like, oh, I'm out of it. I was like, oh. But I'm so happy to hear that Sharif is in fact dead it. He said forget it to Reddit for now. So very happy to hear that in all seriousness. Also, VKTX. I said earlier, I was kind of sad I missed this range, but you know what? turns out there was still some gas in the tank there. I sound like malevolent here, but I was very excited about this trade. So initially the plan was get involved at 84.12. It's kind of an arbitrary level, but just around that 9 EMA, which is why I liked it. Then if we bounce off VWAP, you add a little piece. We were starting to build the range early, you know, having a little bit of ambition, trying to build a position. As Sean talks about the reloading with the Al Pacino, Carlito's Way gif there, the animation. So that's really what we wanted to do here in VKTX. Didn't really give us that opportunity. So if we don't get to reload, I'm just going to take everything out here. What level is this? 59s. Let's do this 840. 58. We didn't get as much of a position here as we wanted to either. As you can tell, we did not have our entire order filled. So this is a scintilla of shares here in VKTX, but a scintilla is better than nothing. And I just wanted to take a trade that I felt good about, that I was excited about. We're out of this position. Thank you. I'm very pleased. As you can see here, I embarrassingly kicked my little legs up under the desk. I was like, ooh, because I was not expecting that fill while I was talking. So VKTX, this one isn't a small cap. It has like a market cap of 7 billion. So it isn't a small cap, but it does tend to move like one sometimes. We did have a positive catalyst with this one with regards to obesity treatments. So this is, I don't know if this is GLP-1 or GLP-2, but it is a GLP or a GLP, as Sharif was telling me they're now called. So this isn't a GLP at all. This is an oral tablet form for VK2735. So nice look, showing reduced weight, and it's an oral obesity drug, which Sharif mentioned earlier. To Sharif, definitely you have more of an understanding of the pharmaceutical game because you were involved in the pharmaceutical game, and I know you were saying the whole, the having of the oral tablets is a huge step up there for these weight loss companies. So shout out to that, and shout out to Viking Therapeutics. Also shout out to anyone who went meta long and had a less, for lack of a better term, scaredy cat stop than I did, because we got out when we got to that 505.20 area, and then meta was like, oh, hold my iPhone, hold my Instagram app, and continue. That wasn't great. Hold my Vision Pro. No, that's the Apple. Okay, I can't do I'm too tired for the puns today, apparently. But Meta continuing to fly to the upside. We would have gotten that fill, but you know what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is, I think, one good example, too, of sometimes I think I'm a little bit too skittish about my stops. Could have given this one a little bit more wiggle room because we got out basically bottom wick, and then we bounced back up. But c'est la vie. It happened, and it's time for me to move on. Please just punch about that VKTX, hoping there's more where that came from. I'll honestly keep doing that 9 EMA for the last 30 minutes of the midday if that keeps happening for VKTX. But also another 9 EMA opportunity comes in the form of my sweet Stressla. Look at this continuous 9 EMA rejection. We have been in the struggle bus here, more like the struggle bus than the Cybertruck right now here for TSLA. We're still up over 3% of the day, almost 4%, but it's certainly been weaker, so I think I want to short this. You know what? I know I want to short this. We're going to take this short. We're going to give this, let's give like 20 pennies. We're going to try to get in at 30s, and we're going to get out at 50s. So keeping this really tight. I don't think we're going to get filled, though, because Tesla is a little too aggressive right now, trying to get to the downside without even stopping for a breather, and for me to get involved and hop into the Cybertruck here. So much like how Sharif has not been able to see the inside of the Cybertruck, I'm not able to see the inside of the Cybertruck on this trade. So a little bit bummed, but we're going to keep the order here because I think there's still some short opportunities in Tesla, and I don't want to take it out and then have this opportunity where it just kind of happens and we got it. So happy I stayed involved, or not involved, we just got involved, but happy I kept my order in. We are in the Cybertruck. Please just punch to say we're going to be taking some of this out at 88s. Because that was that earlier low, and we're going to save a piece for the dream. This isn't very range tradey of me, so I am a little bit shaking in my boots. But you know, as Sean says, scared trader is a deficient trader, trying to use that fear to make better trades. You know, we're about where we entered on Tesla. So let's see if that Cybertruck can continue driving to the downside. You were in Reddit.
Yeah, well, no, we're in DJT. We just wet our beak there for some nice profits. Nice break through that 60 penny area there. Let's see if we can move up a little bit more, looking for that 73 ideally. If we get it, that'll be an entirely different story. Where are we at? We're long 30s. Okay, so we're decently in the money here. Let's see. It was a nice hammer candle off VWAP, and that's the kind of thing that you want to look for these dip trades. You're above the volume weighted average price. You dip in to a key level. There's support at that level. I'm talking about the volume weighted average price on DJT, and there's support at that level, and then the candle that comes after that, or the candle that manifests from that, is a bullish candle. I'm talking about a hammer candle, and then the subsequent candle is a 5-minute candle to make a newer high. So right now, doing well on DJT. Let's see if we can ride through 72, and then we know for a fact that we have some issues breaking through 73 on the day. That just kind of goes without saying. You can see that range there between what time? Between 1 o'clock till basically right now, we're having trouble breaking through 73. There was one time we broke it, we got to 74s, but it immediately retraced right back down. So we'll see. Here we go. Here comes 72. I'm seeing 70. Where am I seeing here? I'm seeing 71.95 show up on the ask, 85 on the bid. Here comes 72, so we're about 70 pennies in the money on this name. Let's see if we can go through 72. There's some size showing up on the book here, not a whole bunch of size, getting eaten up at 72 on DJT, but holding it up a little bit here. The bid showing 90, so the spread 10 pennies at the moment. Definitely a hidden seller at 72. Unsurprising, there's likely to be hidden sellers at all the whole dollars. Now we're printing 01s. Could we really start moving up here and getting into the teens or the 20s? Nope, doesn't look like that for now. The bid drops off back into the 80s. 44% on the day, so not bad. We still haven't given up the level, I don't think, at 72. I think we still may be approaching that level. 36 lots showing up at 72. That's not that much. Given the amount of volume this is done on the day. The volume here is about 37.1 million shares, but just breaking through that whole dollar level is a bit of a problem on DJT at the moment. I see you're excited, so I'm happy for you.
Oh, I'm not even that excited. I was excited for your trade.
Oh, okay.
I saw that.
Cool.
I noticed that. I forgot about the 75.
No, I thought you were.
Earlier.
Oh yeah, well it's okay. We're having trouble though at the 72 level. Keeps showing 72, keeps rejecting 72. So maybe somebody there with a whole lot of size keeping this bad boy down. I guess time will tell. We'll find out soon.
Yeah, no, congrats to you. Yeah, honestly, I was just bouncing with excitement when I saw your chart. I was like, ooh, beak wetters. Yeah, I have a habit of like being like very visibly excited when I get excited. And so I think that's what it was. Sharif was like,
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy for you. I have this Tesla, we're going to end up being out of the money on this, unfortunately. Look at this we had this little bounce at 179.10. I tried to get out and Tesla was like, no. So locked into the Cybertruck. But if we keep failing this 179.50, I will stay in this trade. It looks like though we are going to break above. So got a little bit chopped up there. That's okay. We have not had a successful Tesla trade today, but I'm pretty happy with how I've managed the risk on this one. Just having areas, sticking to my areas. Tesla failing 179.50. So looks like she heard what I had to say, and she was like, okay, Dara, we'll calm down a little bit. Nvidia creeping up towards that 947 area. I like this area. I know Obi earlier was mentioning this area. Let's see what we have to do. I don't want to take it on a whim. I want to wait and see what we do. But as I've been talking, we just dropped below 946, then reclaimed it. So this was an area, like I said, is why I was scalping this a little bit last Friday too. For whatever reason, that area gave you a little bit of wiggle room and some fun scalpy time. So let's see if we let the good times roll, let the scalps roll here in Nvidia. If I scalp this, I'm doing it in the 1 minute because that's the only time I've really found this name to be helpful for scalpulating or scalping earlier today, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Tesla continuing to be stressful, but I don't have a reason to leave yet. So VKTX, I'm trying to get back into, but I think I probably missed my shot. I had a resting order set for that 84.38, so just kind of trying to calculate where the 9 EMA will be and getting involved there. We missed it. We missed the boat there. So if we come back to the 9 EMA, I'm going to try to get back involved. I think there's a long opportunity here still. It was the same kind of impetus that I used to get into this earlier long, which I was pretty proud of, pretty pleased as punch about. So we can come back there, and I'm actually going to target specifically this 59 area. So where we got out of that earlier long, that's where I want to get back in on the long. Because resistance, support, 9 EMA, confluence, baby.
Confluence.
So if we have that confluence come into effect,
my bad.
I would, I didn't even think about that. I would be pleased as punch. I would be tickled pink. And I would be very happy to get involved in that trade. I'm also just trying to avoid the bamboozlement that is meta because I keep seeing it in my side chart and getting a little down. We did miss that trade earlier. We had the long, we got out bottom wick, then it popped back up. Right now, though, meta's just kind of petering out. I think it might be data for now, so we're going to have to let that one be. Just focus on whatever the heck is going on in that Cybertruck. How are you doing?
We can't break 72, not yet anyway. So now coming back into 71.50, that's after multiple attempts at the level. If it comes into my entry, I'm flattening out. I'm already taken too many hits on the data to basically give this one a bit more room than I would like. So it's coming into the $0.50. We're having a whole bunch of trouble breaking through the whole dollar. I'm talking about the 72 level on DJT. It's been up there for, well, a while. I want to say about 10 minutes or so. That may not be that long, in the grand scheme of things, obviously, but we're intraday trading and having to manage my risk, obviously, while I do that. So now right back up into 71.80. I'm packing my patience for this whole dollar break. By whole dollar, I'm talking about 72. Mahmoud, can you give me your thoughts on a Tesla long? So what I'll do is I'll look at the side chart here because I really have to keep eyes on this trade, even though I have my beak wetter and my stop. Tesla, yeah, okay, so it's an interesting area here at this 179. This 179 area on Tesla is the top end of the pre-market consolidation range. So it'll be interesting to see if we hold up at this area. Let me just show you quickly what I mean, because we're right back into 72. And here comes, so I have to digress. 72 just got broken here on DJT, but not with the viciousness. We need bigger. We need a bigger move up. These perfunctory breaks are bupkis. There we go to the high side, baby. Pamp it. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm waiting at 44. Just cross. Yes. Finally, good. That was a dollar winner on DJT. Okay, so that's not too bad there. And now I can look at this Tesla trade for you a bit more thoroughly now that this is done. Dang it, should have had more size.
You're always angry as a trader.
Yeah, you're always angry as a trader. All right, no, Mahmoud. Honestly, though, what I mean to say is, like, look at this pre-market area over here. 5:05 a.m., 5:10 a.m. These over here at 7:30, 7:25, 7:35. Even here, right before the bell at 9:25. All these areas into that 179 all held up. It was a clear area of resistance. So I get that's in the pre-market. I usually give a little bit less weight to price action in the pre-market, but you can't deny the fact that it did hold up at this area and it put some higher highs, moving back into that $0.50. So right now, I don't have confirmation that the trend is changing, only because we're still rejecting off the 10 period. That's the solid green line on my chart. So even though you do have a bit of a base that formed at 179, you're not getting any really, good, what's the word I'm looking for? The sort of confirmation that you are changing the trend. That 179 is the bottom. I would personally wait for a break and take of that 10 EMA. It would have to close above it on the 5-minute look. That would be my line in the sand to get long here on Tesla. But you can get in, I guess, here and then give yourself maybe 40 pennies worth of room, 30 pennies worth of room, depending on where you get in. If it breaks 79, you get out of Dodge. So I hope you print on that, my man. And let me know how it goes for you. Jay Lee, honestly feel bad for how many DJT bag holders are being created. Look, Jay, I get what you're saying, man. We don't have any proof that this is going to be the real deal, like a Meta or anything like that. But, let's not condemn the stock before it's even had an opportunity to trade a little bit. Now, I get it. So True Social's been out for a long time. I had it on my phone, and I deleted it. I never used it, right? So I rarely use Twitter either. So, I just got too many social media apps on my phone there. And that's why I got rid of it. And to be quite honest with you, it took forever to come into Canada. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it took forever to come into Canada. It wasn't available right away. And then, there was really no big announcement to announce it with the App Store. Anyway, so I've deleted it. And I didn't notice a big thing about it. So we'll see. Time will tell if it ends up being a bust or not. All right, AAPL, I don't know. Oh, Brendo sent me this earlier. I totally forgot to mention it. Apple just announced the Worldwide Developer Conference, WWDC, returns officially June 10th. Widely anticipated that the major AI announcement is going to be at this developer conference. We now have a date. We knew that it was going to be in June. We just didn't have an exact date. June 10th, mark your calendars. Just like I told you to mark your calendars for that DJT blackout period at 6 months, September 24th. Make sure you mark that. June 10th also, if you're in your calendar right now, add that bad boy. And Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. Again, widely anticipated that it's going to be the official announcement, the big release announcement for their AI. I happen to think we may get some tidbits on the earnings call next month. Apple reports earnings at the end of February. I think it'll be too much pressure on Timmy Cook there to, not mention anything about AI, especially with all that Google stuff leaking, right? Or not leaking, being announced. So yeah, that's my look. Let's see what else we can look at here, Ram, on some of these names. How's that Meta? You didn't take that 505 on Meta.
I took it, but I planned the risk horribly. I got out too early. Now though, I might actually take this again though now because we're having this little bounce again.
Well, that's why I asked you about it because I saw a hammer candle starting to form. I don't mean to influence your decision.
No.
Do I ever.
I like it. I like it as it is, and I think also because my issue is I should have got involved around here instead of earlier where I got involved in the first place. I think I'm going to miss my opportunity because we just had that. Yeah, we probably missed it, but I'm going to keep the order there just in case. Thank you for pointing that one out because Meta has been on my radar. Nvidia, I paper-handed this very badly. Indeed, we were not able to get out. If I had scalped this like perfectly 50 pennies the second I got in, it would have been fine, but the spread was a little bit spready for lack of a better term. We just weren't able to get the landing. Then I added at 947.20s a little bit because we did have a little bit of a rejection there. I should have been trading this on the 1 minute and not the 3. That was my big issue. We did lose on this. Unfortunately, we did take an L on the NVDA. Maybe I should have taken used the NVDL instead because I know you talk a lot about the NVDL and I should have probably been trading it that way. But we didn't take a huge position. Happy I got out where I did. Shout out to Joanna Brewster though, apparently killing it on this long in NVDA. So shout out to you. Congratulations. Andre, I believe in the chat earlier, was asking about CCL. So let's see how CCL is taking off ahead of its earnings tomorrow. It's a cruise line. What did I use?
Yeah, it's okay. You can disembark.
Bon voyaging. Thank you, Obi. I'm sure you're saying disembarking, so everybody's getting on the pun ship there. So nice look here. CCL, let's take a look at the daily first to kind of get a sense at wider price action. Also, we just got out of the Cybertruck, so I'm all smiles. But CCL, let's see here. This is, okay, immediately I see this level I want to talk about, and that level is that just shy of 15s. Look at this. We had this bounce earlier back in June 2023. We come again, top insurance in September 2023. We dip below. Then we come to actually show it as resistance. We knock on the door of it during its November to remember, and then we continue to the upside. Now look at where we had support again, around that 15. This level to me, crystal clear. Much like the blue waters you might travel on a CCL. So, but no, in all seriousness, that is a level I like. Also, I kind of see this pseudo double top, but higher lows. So I think to me, this actually is not a bad look at all on CCL. Thank you, Sharif, pointing out as well. We have these higher lows going on for a lot longer than what I was pointing out as well. So look at these. We had this nice little 9 support for a while there, and then taking off on its journey, disembarking. Upwards here. Let's see what we do at 1950, because this 1950 we've been chopping and churning around for a while. To the moon, but on the sea.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like it. Thank you.
We don't have a water one.
I think it's a good analogy. Thank you for pressing that one. But yeah, I think if we go up, I want to see what we do at 19 if we gap up on earnings tomorrow. If we gap down, let's look what we do at 15. I hope that helps. Andre, in terms of the daily, let me see what I see on the intraday here on the 5. Let's look at the 5. Honestly, intraday, I think we're just kind of consolidating a little bit, potentially a flat bottom break here at 1696, because look at these lower lows and this flattish bottom, but not much of a read I see here. Also, Meta fell out from under me, so I should risk manage that.
What is going on with Meta today, man?
I didn't even know I got into this, and I get in while I'm talking, I'm making my little CCL puns, and the Meta's like, So I mean, if you don't mind, I will have to extricate myself from this trade.
I'll take over. Meta, Big Kyle talking about SPY falling. I was just about to mention that, Big Kyle. We hit the bottom end there. You're looking at the SPY. You know me. I'm going to be looking at the NQ. That's just kind of my jam over here. You get used to the levels too, Kyle. I'm sure you're used to the levels on the SPY as well. So there's a comfort level that comes with that. Guys, it's been sequentially lower highs since essentially 7 a.m. When we put that top. 18,619 overnight high. It's been followed up by sequentially lower highs every single time. We haven't gotten a lower low on this hammer looking candle right now, but essentially coming back into that same level that we put in right at 1 o'clock, 18,530. 30, 31, whatever, in that general area. It's an area that we've been bouncing off all morning, but when you look at that top end area, we are putting in lower highs. I don't care if we're up 0.14% on the day. It definitely feels like a negative day, right? So to go red on the day, we got to break through 18,513. All right, fine, that's great. So we're still positive on the day. But look at these Mag 7 names. Unless your name is Google, and Tesla, obviously, because it had a good day. Everything looks like it's negative on the day. Softy's negative. Apple just went negative as well. The Amazonian is negative. Meta seems like it's negative off that $5 rejection off 510. But anyway, kind of the same look there. Google, decent. Holding above VWAP, it's kind of the outlier on the day. Even Nvidia is negative, trying to reject off that volume weighted average price. So far, did you have that trade on Nvidia? You did, yeah. See, that's the thing about this one. Can you really give it that much room?
I gave it too much room. That was my issue. I could not.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But look, the candle closed below the volume weighted average price.
That's true. I should have been more patient.
And that's what I was trying to make the case for NVDL for. You can't really, with our shutdown, we can't really give it the amount of room it may require. But when we use a derivative product, we kind of weasel our way around that, and hence why I've been talking about this NVDL for so long, because the Catena, the Neil, they got different shutdowns, different buying powers. They've been here for so many years. It's tough for, I would say, I don't want to speak for you, but tough for me to trade like that. So I have to use some of these products, NVDL included here. So we'll see. We'll see whether this one rejects. I mean, it was dancing with basically 940 all morning, and now it's made its way up for the first time since I want to say 10:30 up into that 950. Rejected though, not 950, 943, 949 and change. Rejected though, so we'll keep eyes on that. Apple also getting that big push down. First time it's actually closed below the volume weighted average price since this 1040 candle. Apple about to go red as well, or sorry, it is red. This level over here is the level that I was looking at, this 170.40. I don't know why that line was there. It should have been a little bit higher, 170.85. But Apple breaking down now below the volume weighted average price. The first time it's been down here since around 10:40, 10:30 a.m. Precipitated a big move, a dollar move off the top there. High a day, 171.42. I do have to cover for Brendo because he's got a meeting.
Okay.
So I'm going to take off in about 5 minutes. I'll let you close off the show there. We have about 11 minutes left on the show. NVD, says T. Lee. That's one I didn't have eyes on, NVD. That is the two-time NVIDIA ETF. What does it trade at? Oh, $4. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a nice little mini one.
Yeah, okay. So many NVIDIA derivatives here. I guess I'm not really surprised. There's a Coinbase derivative now.
CONL,
yeah, CONL, NVD. Let's try NVD here. NVD. Here it is. Let's see what kind of range we get on this bad boy. Okay, so you're going to have to take big boy shareage here. And this is the inverse. Is this an inverse? Yeah, because
it looks like the inverse,
minus 200%. Yeah, so it is. Okay, well, it doesn't really make a difference. You just go long when you want to go short, or you want to go long. It's kind of like the SQs and the TQs, so no big difference there. Thank you for pointing that one out to me. I didn't actually know about it, and we'll have eyes on it from now on. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sharif. I really appreciate what you're saying there with regards to NVDL or NVDA derivatives in general, because I think that's my big issue is you do need to give these NVDAs a little bit of wiggle room, but unless you have the perfect point of entry, which I never do, then it's not really going to work for you. You know what I mean? So I think that makes sense, and I think that's something I need to be more open to. I like the concept of NVDX because I like a slightly pricier stock. You know what I mean? You want a little bit primo, but the thing is too, is NVDX has to me the worst volume. NVDL's got a nice amount of volume. It's usually around 8 to 10 mil. Right now, NVDX is 568,000, which is worse than Lilly today. Jeez. So NVDX is, and that's hard to be lower volume than Eli Lilly, just like for the record.
Right.
But NVDX, so it's, you know, it's a little bit of a slower poke, but I think NVDL is a nice look, and I think it's one I need to give more respect to, because, you know, if you plan the share size accordingly, you can give yourself more risk and end up with more reward. And I mean, shout out to Sharif for killing it on those NVDL trades over the last little while. You had one today too as well, I believe that you said.
I did, really early on, and I didn't trade it again after that. Yeah, I should have definitely had eyes on it. I felt it was kind of consolidative, right? There was obviously that 940 bottom. That was a great area of support. That's probably on me for not trading that because it was a rinse and repeat style trade there. So you're never going to win them all. But I just want to mention DJT is on the way up. Here comes 75. We're at 74.5 here on DJT. It's now 49% to the good. I feel like, again, you're always angry as a trader no matter what, right? We had a couple of really good trades on DJT on the day, positive on the day, but, you know, never holding it for long enough, never holding enough size on this name. There is resistance from earlier at 75 on DJT. Just want to mention that one real quick. Before we go here, we know the high of days, generally that 80 area, 79.38 technically, but these are the candles that I'm talking about earlier on. The first one at 9.55. Then you had a couple here, 10.15 and 10.20, all of which rejected off that 75 area. So it looks like we're right there right now, putting in higher lows, higher highs. The volume, not, you know, great, but not bad either. I mean, it's not going to be opening range volume or closing print volume, but for the midday, we just got 500,000 shares done on this one candle over here. This candle that we're currently printing on the 5-minute has another 2 minutes. It looks like this one is going to print way more than 500,000 there, as this one is coming in to 75 on DJT. Good luck. We could easily see an 80 print today. What a move up, almost 50% to the good. This dude was up 4 billion extra on his net worth at the beginning of the day. That doesn't even include the 50% pump that we got intraday, Adara. The dude's happy. You can tell. He's going to be like, it's the biggest one-day gain of all time. No, it's not, obviously. I think that's Jensen, probably.
Yeah, it's Jenny H. Yeah,
it's Jenny H.
It's Jensen and his beautiful stoic face with his chips.
Yeah.
Also, would you say that the real money hero of the day is DJT? We're making the money hero joke, you know.
No, legit. The money, the MNY, we know what MNY is. It's here today, it's not here tomorrow. But the name is really what.
It's a great name. Yeah, I keep making that joke because it's pretty funny. And someone made it in the chat earlier as well today, and I liked it. But also, thank you to Bears vs. Bulls for telling me about this one. I also do have the mobile stream the chat up as well in case we see anything. We did get a super chat from Pardeep Singh. 299A. I don't know what currency that is. I will look it up. Also, speaking of AMD got going here, so let's look up A.
Can I just
currency.
take off before you load that?
Say here.
So I'm going to see everybody at the big desk covering for Brendo. He's off today.
Yeah, so we will see. Thank you so much, Sharif, for killing it there. You will see him in the big desk in 5 minutes, along with the big kahunas, Obi and Sean, because Neil is hanging out with Pirate Chips and watching baseball in Florida. So we wish him the best, and we will see him next week. But right now, you will see Sharif in 5 minutes. So everyone say, a warm au revoir to Sharif for killing it there. Pardeep saying thank you so much for the $2.99 super chat. Are we looking for the S&P to be bullies and gain new highs? So let's see. Yeah, let's see if. I think right now, we'll have to look at the daily because I know right now we've seen a little bit of consolidation on that S&P 500. Also, if anyone else has any tickers they want me to look at as we head to the end of the day, definitely let me know. I think right now it's going to be a little bit difficult for the S&P to see new highs. Today, I know we have, as of late, but I think right now we're running into issues with that 521.40. Shout out to Kyle Burdett in the chat. I know you were shorting this one, and I think SPY, a little bit sad I missed this one earlier because there were definitely some short opportunities at 521.40. But if you look at this guy on the daily, I think, continuing on that nice move to the upside for sure. I think right now, though, the SPY is getting a little bit beat up. I don't know if it has enough energy to bully right now. We are still kind of making new lows. However, I like to use chart action less on these ETFs, but I am seeing an area that could be interesting at this 520.80. This was definitely an area of support earlier. We had some wicks to the downside. Buyers buy them back up. So I think there is a little bit of an area here that I think is interesting with if we can reclaim that 520.80. But we would still need to do a whole bunch more damage in order to really kind of to beat the market back up here, right, on the SPY, to use your analogy. And I think the first area we'd have to surpass would be that 521.40. So hope that helps. That is my take on the SPY. We don't have any economic data or any Fed speakers that I'm aware of coming this afternoon, so there's no real catalyst either that could give the SPY a leg up right now, I think. So we'll have to see if there's any individual catalyst giving this one a move. But yeah, SPY, Not too much happening here. Also, we looked at the SPY. M Sharp asking about QQQ. So let's take a look at Q to the Q to the Q. I believe Sean was short the market earlier, so I'm sure he'll have some battle stories with QQQ to talk about. Not battle stories, definitely killing on the Qs. But yeah, I mean, QQQ, general downward trend we have here. I'm going to raise these trend lines. I don't know why they're here. We've had lower lows, but we've also had, and again, trying to use charts a little bit less for these ETFs, but look at this pseudo flat bottom we have here at 445.60. This is a clear area of support, but with the lower highs, the support could be breaking down. So I'm going to be really cognizant of what we do at 445.60. And I'm sure, again, Sean will probably have some analysis of this that is much stronger than what I have to give here, but I do think that this support area at 445.60 is incredibly interesting. Also, shout out to Joanna Brewster, still holding Nvidia. Congrats to you. I mean, look at this. We broke above this VWAP with a viciousness, struggling a little bit at 950. I think if we claim 950, that would be a fantastic look there. So, and we didn't really even struggle with 950 earlier. I don't think on the downside, we just kind of slooped. So I don't even know if it's going to be a key level. That being said, all these whole dollar levels, especially with Nvidia's, and when I say whole, I mean 5, 10, like these key levels can always be interesting. So keep an eye on 950 as we head into Nvidia. But congrats to you, Joanna Brewster, and anyone else involved in this. BYSI says saying please. So yeah, I mean, why not? Beyond Spring, we had some positive data yesterday morning with regards to one of their treatments for small cell lung cancer. So of course, we love a good story. Volume on this though is below. Unfortunately, I can't really give it a read on this. Volume in this is below 200K on the day, so not much here. In terms of, honestly, though, it's a nice look on the daily, I have to say. It's a smaller cap, smaller name. We're below $4, but we have seen higher highs, higher lows, so I like the look of this one. I just can't really give a more in-depth analysis of it on the intraday due to the lack of volume here. But yeah, I think in general, it's a nice look. Mr. Lib asking me about PayPal. I was looking at PayPal earlier, too, and I forgot to actually try to trade it, so... Yeah, I mean, PayPal, look at this. This is the type of stuff I find interesting. This 66.80 area, we bounced off it earlier, also happened to be curling with the 90 MA and VWAP at the time, so nice look there for PayPal. Then we had this nice pop up here, bit of a topping tail candle, fall back to VWAP, show some support, make a lower high, then quadruple through VWAP, and we find support almost at the same level. So the 66.80 is nice for VWAP or for PayPal. We made a slightly higher low here too, so we could curl back up, but right now I think PayPal is a skosh consolidative. One last look for my filler. I'll take a look at ARM. We have one last minute left. We'll see you tomorrow too, though, with more pullbacks, of course. Right now, though, for ARM, no catalyst on ARM. I know some people in the chat were saying it looks like some insider selling. And given that last week we did have, well, not last week, the week before, we had that ARM, on March 12th, we had that ARM lockup. And so there can be selling in ARM, and that could be what's happening here. We don't know, though, so we can't say anything for certain. But general rejection of the 90 MA, massive fall through of that 140 area. Talk about a flat bottom break, continuing to the downside. We tried to recover here at 130, but we'll have to wait and see. I think if we retake 90 MA, start switching to support from resistance, I think that could be a nice look. But right now, clear resistance on ARM to the downside. I'm sure that the big kahunas will have something to say about that when we get back to them, because I'm sure no one can resist a move back to the afternoon show. We'll see you tomorrow, same bad time. Oh, never mind, we won't. We will, but not right this second. So ARM continuing to reject there. Now we are good, though, so we will not be rejecting a move over to the big desk. See you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Sharif at the big desk.
Thank you very much, Adara. Welcome to the afternoon show, guys. Yep.